out the signals for the Baltimore Colts. Unitas gives to Amici. The Colts are the world champions. Amici scores.
It's amazing, sensational, dramatic, heart-rending, exciting, thrilling finish in the history of college football. California won the big game.
5 seconds left in the game.
Over.
You believe in miracles? Yes! Unbelievable.
This is Phil Steele.
This is Mike Burnham.
This is Wes Durham.
This is Mike Ashley.
Hi, this is Chuck Foreman, number 44 of the Minnesota Vikings.
Woo, mercy, this is handsome Jimmy Vine, the Boogie Woogie Man.
This is Coach Fry with Virginia Tech Football, and you are listening to Big Dog Sports Talk.
Are you ready to rock? Are you ready to roll? Okay, let's do it.
You're in the doghouse with Rick Watson on Big Dog Sports Talk, presented by Pulaski County Sports and Entertainment. Join us in the Family Fencing Studios and chime in on the McClellan Chiropractic chat line. He's keeping cool with help from Little River Heating and Air, but this show is straight fire. And now, the big dog, Rick Watson.
Rick Watson's got the mic, he's the big dog king. Cover sports so sharp, it's a new river thing. Virginia Tech fire, rapid pride too. Every stat, every play, he's bringing it to you. He's got that voice, deep as a valley, breaking it down, no dilly, no dally. Big dog sports talk, feel the bark, feel the bite. Rick's in the zone, every day, every night, from the Hokies to the Highlanders. He's got the spark, Big dog sports talk, lighten up the dark. He's got the scoop, faster than a sprint. Calling plays like a coach, every word's a hint. From the courts to the fields, the stories unfold. Rick's play-by-play, worth its weight in gold. With a laugh and a growl, he'll pull you in. Big Dog's podcast, let the games begin.
Good morning. It's Thursday.
Feel the bark, feel the bite.
NCAA tournament brackets start today.
Every night, from the Hokies to the Highlanders.
David Smith will join us, Bradford Hall of Famer. We'll talk a little NFL, talk some brackets.
Lighten up the dark.
Andy Bitter from Tech Sideline, talk more about the start of Tech football practice. Alex Guerra is scheduled to join us from Radford Baseball. Dwight Vick, late last night, had something to come up with his truck, so he has to meet the dealer, I think, at 8 o'clock, so he can't be on today, unfortunately. But I will go through at that time and break through my bracket. Complete and utter transparency. Hit us up in McClellan Chiropractic chat room.
Sports talk, feel the bark, feel the bite. Rick's in the zone.
Also, on the professional door text line here from our Family Fencing Studios. Good morning, Prometheus. So you have a few hours left to jump into our bracket. Go to ESPN Tournament Challenge, type in Big Dog Sports Talk, DEWG. It's that easy. A lot of crow eating last night from a lot of people. The ACC now 0-2. As SMU loses to Miami, Ohio. You know, the team that morons like Bruce Pearl and all those other talking idiots on ESPN were telling you that, hey, since Miami, Ohio didn't win their tournament just because they won 31 games, they shouldn't be in the tournament. You know, those same people. And they knock off SMU last night, 89-79. They hit 16 threes. I couldn't quite make the second half, but that was a fun game. First half, man, it was just lay it all on the line. It felt like an NCAA tournament game. It was fun. So Miami moves on to play Tennessee, and do you look at that more closely? I may have to think about that later this morning. Let's see what they have of Vegas. I'm sure they already have the spread out. So that'll be a Friday game. Let me figure what we got here. They're going to be a difficult thing for Tennessee to handle. Tennessee by 11. Because if they're hitting threes, they're tough, man. And they were missing them early. SMU jumped out on them, and then they were able to get it back. So we'll see. We'll see. But it's fun. That's what the tournament's all about. Prairie View got their first win. It's a nice story. So Howard and Prairie View, two HBCUs, each get their first ever tournament wins, and I couldn't be more thrilled for Kenny Blakeney, as we said. When the tournament's over, I'm going to try to get Coach Blakeney on with us. He's been on the show quite a few times. Really, really good dude. But we are now full throttle staring into the brackets today. I hope your bracket fares well. We'll go over mine. Here's mine. We're going to go over that later on. Again, Dwight had to reach out. He tried to make it work schedule-wise, but then it was like we had to squeeze him on today for like 10 minutes, and we both agreed that just doesn't feel right for Dwight. You know, you don't want to squeeze Dwight on. Dwight needs to be here, nurture for half an hour, teach, lay his wisdom on the line so we can get through the rest of the week. So we'll get him back on Thursday. We're going to try to figure it out, but it just didn't feel right. So, well, that was going to be my next point, Tebow. I mean, here they are, 0-2 now. Even though they had a better year in the net rankings and there was a lot of positive vibes. We talked about it with Teal yesterday. ACC 0-2 in the first four. NC State lost at the end, and Miami just controlled. I went back and watched the quick highlights this morning, and Miami just kind of controlled the final 10 minutes of that game. Andy Enfield, not surprised. I don't think he's a guy that's going to be a long-term, hey, let's contend for a title type of coach. They like to get it up and down. There's not really any structure to what SMU does. They shoot a lot of threes. It's a freewheeling, flying type of thing. And Miami plays that way too, but they made more of them last night. That's a fun game, though, wasn't it? It was a lot of fun. A lot of fun. So the bracket starts today, and today's one of the days that we still have as sports fans that get us excited. Today's one of the days where we can just think about, okay, in what manner can I watch some of the games that get started after 12? This is why all the people at Radford that have TVs, this is why they put TVs in their offices, just so they can do this. They're going to pretend like they're working, but they're not. TCU, Ohio State will be the first game, an 8-9 game at 12:15. 12:40 will be Troy and Nebraska in the South region. And South Florida and Louisville. Will the ACC get a win? This is one a lot of people, myself included, I picked South Florida. Louisville without their guard, it's just not the same. That's at 1:30. And then the other earlier window game is in the game of a lot of interest for me. High Point takes on Wisconsin out of the West region. And then you get on into the later afternoon. Duke plays at 2:50 against Siena. McNeese and Vandy, another 5-12 at 3:15. Michigan State, North Dakota State at 4. And then you get into the night session. VCU, Carolina, somebody just asked on the professional door text line, that's 6:50 tonight. And the night session, Texas BYU. Nothing of any local interest tonight, but they're all of interest because of your bracket. Sorry. Anyway, I stayed up too late watching that game. Join our bracket challenge. Let me see. We had a good push last night. Let's see here. We are at 73. Wow. Awesome. Thank you, everybody. We have 73 members of our bracket, and you have until noon. Get your bracket picked and to join. Marva is in. Better late than never. She said had to wait to see if Miami of Ohio could beat SMU. She says there are levels of this thing, Rick. And I'm sure her entry will be named after Duke in some capacity. Good morning, Chris. How are you? Oh, did you get in, Chris? Cool. But today and tomorrow, today especially, are the 2 days we have left as sports fans where we can genuinely just fist pump and be happy. It's going to be the last year of it, likely. I agree with David yesterday, David Teal. They'll add more first 4 days. Feels like 76 will be the next teams, the next number. And then you'll just add a full day of first 4 games. You'll add 2 to each. Right? Isn't that what it feels like? So in other words, today or like Tuesday, you would start at noon, like a quarterfinals of a conference tournament. Play the second game at 2:30-ish. Then you have the break for the evening session. It starts at 6, whatever, 15, and then you'll have the late game. That's probably what will happen next year in the first 4. So maybe if that's the route they go with 76, maybe that won't feel as intrusive. It'll water it down. But I could see that. Treat Tuesday and Wednesday like quarterfinals of a conference tournament. That's my guess. But this is where I don't trust any of the powers that be. Will they consider adding 8 teams enough from 68 to 76? The whole leading into the whole tournament excitement is about the bubble. Who's on the bubble? It's how Joe Lunardi makes a living. The bubble will be burst. They'll be eliminated for the most part once they add however many teams they're going to add. So I could see it going from 68 to 76. Anything above that, I don't know what you try to do. Do you somehow add another day of first 4? I don't know how you do that and still play the games Thursday and Friday. I mean, basketball's a quick turnaround. You can do that, but you have to get those teams to the next site. And that's the thing. From Ohio, where the Miami Redhawks should still be the Redskins, but showed they more than belong to the CBS halftime show where Bruce Pearl looks like he was just fitted for a thong. BDST is live and online. It's just, he's such an ass clown. Now he was sitting there last night having to talk about Miami winning and act. It just, guy went on a personal attack of Miami for the last week and a half. How does anybody consciously turn on any of those hideous talking head shows? Or like the only one that was any good is the one ironically tied to the NBA with Chuck, Kenny, and Shaq, but now it's on ESPN, so it's not the same. How does anybody watch any of that tripe? Does anybody care what any of them have to say? Lord almighty. So when the game hit halftime, I just kind of mute it and wait for the game to start, and then I couldn't stay awake. But they were fun, man. Miami, they had a chip on their shoulder. They had a decisively mega crowd there. I mean, they were chanting Red Hawks, Red. Like it was a home game. Like David said, it was going to be a home game. And SMU kind of buckled under that. They did. But Miami played like a team, and SMU looked like a bunch of mercenaries that got paid a lot. You know, they didn't look cohesive. I think even they knew Miami was good. I think SMU went into that kind of arrogant because of the size they had. And they got some layups and so forth. But I think Miami, when you hit that many threes and you take such a high volume of threes, I think the other team then feels like it has to try to answer. And SMU's not consistently a great three-point shooting team. We played them. Radford played them. They're big. They have some big guys down low. But now the question becomes, how much do we start reading into the ACC? Is it not nearly as deep and strong as we thought it was? Just as Tebow said, this is where all this stuff comes in. But the thing that you can't get away from, and you can have opinions, they're like something else on our body, right? Everybody has one. The results of the games tell the story. And right now, the ACC is 0 for 2. If Louisville, as a 6 seed, somehow gets upset by an 11 seed today, then all of a sudden, we're going to have to start to realize, okay, so this league wasn't nearly as deep as we thought. Top heavy with Duke and Virginia and Carolina when they were healthy. But after that, that cheap Pearl guy always bothered me from his exit from Tennessee. Yeah, he is. He's that guy. Yeah, he's that guy. Matter of fact, Pearl and Greenberg are good friends. Yeah. Yeah, they're all similar creatures. And they parade him out there. I think what they believe is they believe he's some kind of controversial, like, yeah, people are going to really like, they're going to love to hate him. This is great. But no, they just hate him. He doesn't have anything of any substance to say. People are muting him. Right? It's terrible. It's just terrible. And this is what ESPN has done to other networks. They think that people want to hear this crap, and we don't. Nobody wants to watch that. I can't imagine there's anybody that watches any of that slop that shows up on ESPN daily. Is anybody? And now when you see them just screaming at each other at the halftime of the NCAA games, you know it's – but kudos to Miami. Good for them. They were you could tell they had a huge chip, and they played like it last night. Yeah, I know. I mentioned that, Chris. Yeah. And with him being gone, they weren't great without him during the season. They hung on. And South Florida is pretty good. Very athletic. Very athletic. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. But the ACC could be looking at 0-3 by the time we hit 4 o'clock today. And after Carolina, they could be 0 for 4. That would be half their field out. A little surprising if that happens, but we'll see. We'll see. Fun stuff, though. Lots of fun stuff. And last night was fun. That was fun. The first 4 is, I believe the first 4 is, I won't say it's the most special part of the tournament, but it really does. It has really found its niche in recent years. And it does capture the lead in. And it takes us out of the selection, and it's right before our brackets start. I think what you're going to see, too, going forward is that, like, for instance, you know how right now we don't have to pick the first 4 games? If they do add a whole quarterfinal day, I got a feeling that'll be added to these tournament things, which is fine. But, Vegas is going to love it. It's more games people can wager on. I'm sure people won a lot of money last night on Miami, Ohio. Right? Anthony, the Louisville fan. Sorry, Rick, you're going to ruin your bracket. Well, it wouldn't really ruin my bracket. It'd be one loss because I do not have South Florida beating Michigan State in the next round. But I do think they'll beat Louisville. And I could be wrong. Yeah, Tebow says it's not that the ACC. Well, were they overrated, or is the net ranking something else that just has a faulty way? And I think people are starting to look through find some cracks in the whole net ranking stuff. Like anything else that's man-made, it's going to have faults, right? This thing isn't just this foolproof system, right? There is none. Maybe that the ACC just isn't good, period. And that's an argument, right? Duke, UVA, consistently good. Carolina tries to be. They were going to be really good, I think, postseason with Wilson, but oops. Yeah, Moore City's locked into the TV. Yeah, Xavier hadn't been back since they fired Steele, have they? Reading more on what UNCG did, it was the AD hiring his good buddy. This was a good old boy network hire. And Mike Jones lost his job because the AD wanted to work with his friend, is basically what it was. Jared Haas is not going to excite anybody down in Greensboro. Good luck. Good luck. Good luck. Yeah, go Miami. That was fun, man. That was cool last night. They were fun. They were fun. Anthony, yeah, I keep hearing that, Anthony. If Pat Kelsey loses, that seat's going to get a little warm. It almost feels like, you tell me, Anthony, you're a Louisville fan. People aren't sold on him at all, are they? Doesn't feel like it. Doesn't feel like it. And that's the thing about Duke. I got Duke winning the whole thing. Can they get to the Final Four to get their guard back? They get the one kid back probably next round. They still look the part to be in the ACC tournament, but now maybe we're finding out the ACC is not, like Tebow said, maybe it's not that good. Do I have to look at that and change that today? Do I have to look at Duke and St. John's again? I will. So this bracket that I'm going to go over later might change a little bit today. And if it does, we'll talk about it tomorrow. This could change. I mean, my Patriot article tomorrow, the article for the Patriot, breaks down my bracket, but my bracket could change today. We have until noon. How much of those injuries going to be a factor, even though they look great? Still, I don't know. Dun, 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 dun. Rick Pitino against anybody is an interesting matchup, right? Coaching really shows up in the tournament. Really shows up. Yeah, I might have to look at that too. Did Miami have their moment, or does it continue on Friday? Is that momentum, now that they won't have a home game per se, does that momentum carry against Tennessee, who had the number, 10 ranked schedule in the country? And that's why this tournament's so much fun. And that's why it's so frustrating in your bracket, because you have to look at these things. But yeah, I have to wonder about Duke a little bit. They won't have any problems against Siena. But what about going forward? I mean, potentially TCU or Ohio State in the 8-9 game. And then that matchup with St. John's. So maybe now I have to go back and fix some things. Just because of the injury. Because your point guard is your quarterback. Look what happened to my Broncos in the playoffs. They lost their quarterback. They lost the game. Miami, Ohio approves a new arena, yet Tech still plays in an outdated castle. Yeah, it just kind of went away, didn't it? All the plans. When we brought the show back in 2020 through 21 and 22, it was all about the castle renovations. We saw blueprints. Gone. Patino, great coach, yet like Nick Saban, after you see him, you just feel the need to take a shower. Yeah, that's what. Anthony, I noticed that too. They almost felt like they were sped up, and Miami, Ohio dictated the way SMU was going to play. And everywhere Andy Enfield has been, USC, it feels like he's never been able to adjust very well. I mean, he's a shady guy anyway. Enfield's one of the shadiest guys in college basketball. But, yeah, those guards, Boopie's a selfish player. They played like an NBA team. That's what they played like, and they lost. I know, Chris, you got me thinking now, man. I might have to look at that. The injuries are a major factor. Major factor. So I might have to do some reshuffling just because of the injury. But see, that's what's great. We have until noon to do that. And jump into our league, Big Dog Sports Talk, DAWG. Get your brackets done and have fun. We'll talk to David Smith about all that. He's a Radford Basketball Hall of Famer. Now, he's traveling today, and he's going to still be on the show, so we appreciate that. He's got a Board of Visitors meeting. David's big shot. So we'll talk a little bit Jalen Waddle. He's a Dolphins guy. I'm a Broncos guy. Miami proved a new, wow, is it really? 280, we'll just say. We'll go on the high end. The $290 million multi-purpose arena, because those things always are higher than you think they are. Like when schools put forth a budget, it's coming in a lot higher. That bid's coming in a lot higher. Wow. That's a lot. But that Miami kids, man, they were just, and I mean this with all the respect, they were just recklessly happy to be out there. They were just playing. They didn't care. Whatever coach said, coach may not have had to have said much. Whatever happened last night, those guys were wired, man. That was fun. All right. It's always fun. Joining us now is David Smith. Look at him. There he is. He's on the road making it happen. What's up, DS?
You think I'm going to leave you? You think I'm going to? In fact, I'm closer to you today than I've been in a while. Good to see you, man.
See you, man. Good to see you. You got BOV things today. I know you're.
Well, yeah, we got to come down here and kind of keep this thing moving a little bit. But let it be known that this is more important than any of that other stuff.
You should bring that up today. By the way, guys, I had more fun today doing this.
Let me tell you, if you ask anybody, they will tell you right now. I've been very fortunate to have some pretty cool stuff happen. This is kind of insane when you think about it. But at my core, anybody you ask, they know that I'm all about having been a student athlete. It is the greatest experience I've ever had in my life. There's nothing really close to it outside of children and marriage and those kinds of things. But it's everything. And so it's why I continue to help to try to serve, man, try to pay back all the people who paved the way for me. So it's kind of what it is.
Absolutely.
So,
well, let's get right into it. That was fun last night now. Miami, Ohio, it reminded me of just watching a mid-major, like in our league play. Those guys were just no worries about anything that happened. They would just go in, take a shot. Okay, we missed it. We're going to – and they just showed you they deserved to be there. It was really cool.
Watch this, Rick. I'm going to say that Miami of Ohio did that for you. Now, watch why I say that. So I don't get to participate in the chat a lot because I'm always on the road, that kind of thing. But I watch you all the time. And I was a little worried about you a couple times because my man is, well, the NCAA is not great. And NFL, well, they're not great either. I'm thinking, well, that's two. Well, I don't love Major League Baseball right now. Well, hang on now. What are we here for? So I think that Miami of Ohio wanted to let you know. They wanted to renew faith in Rick Watson and let you know, my good friend, that this, at its core, NIL, transfer portal, all those things are ancillary, Rick. It doesn't matter when the ball goes up. It just doesn't. It doesn't matter when the ball goes up. And Miami of Ohio wanted to do that VCU 2011 thing where they were like, okay, maybe you don't think we're supposed to. Okay, yeah, okay, fine. You can better believe when they rallied those troops together, they were like, they're going to be surprised tonight. And then for some reason, SMU, that didn't look like the team that Radford went and played earlier this year, or Virginia Tech played this year for some reason. But I think they were shocked. They were knocked on their heels a little bit, Rick. And love it or hate it, the greatest neutralizer in basketball is the art. And
it is.
I'm reminded, Rick, of when Chip Kelly decided he couldn't bang with Alabama back in the early 2010s. Let's spread these boys out. We're not going to play that bludgeoning game. We're going to spread the field out. We're going to play with pace. So they tried to neutralize football at that time. Well, that's what the threes have done. This is not a revelation. It's been going on now for a while. Right. And Miami of Ohio, their only way was to go out and shoot their shot. And boy, they shot their shot. And they lead the nation in scoring, Rick, for a reason. And listen, they had one slip up in the quarterfinal and everybody wanted to poo-poo them. And we didn't know. I didn't know what to expect. I didn't either. I figured SMU, they played great teams pretty well, played in a Power Four conference. And that's why we love March Madness, baby.
I know.
Here we go. And Tennessee's up next, I think, right?
Tennessee's next. They take a look at the SEC next. Yeah. Oh, they have to be a little bit. I would be. And the crowd being so large for Miami, it felt like we won't have that energy necessarily going forward in the next round. They're going to lose that advantage, but that was fun too. We knew it was going to be decisively in their favor. What was it, 45-minute drive? That place was packed for me.
It was crazy. I'm sure SMU was probably saying, who did we make mad to have to get this draw or whatever? Well, the answer is you had about 30 chances to not have that draw. And so it is what it is. But and Rick, you understand Dayton as much as anybody. Yeah. It meant everything for us to be able to play that game on Tuesday.
Oh, yeah.
And Ed Polite and the boys went up there and showed out against, it was LIU, I think it was, right? That they played LIU Brooklyn, I think it was.
It was LIU Brooklyn. Yep.
And I'm sitting at the house watching that, and I'm thinking to myself, 3-2-1, I'm off to Pittsburgh.
I know, that's what it was. That's what it was.
Off to Pittsburgh, and that was the greatest pod ever. The fact that we were able to play, and Virginia Tech played Alabama in the second game of the same pod that night. So we were able to watch them play. My godson was playing for Alabama at the time for Avery Johnson, and they're playing Virginia Tech. Radford and Tech in the same pod in Pittsburgh. So sometimes the NCAA gets it right, even if they aren't trying.
Well, and the wisdom of Mike Jones, I remember because we were all prepared, right? We'd gotten back, and we knew that after we won the Big South, we met that night at the Dedman Center. We all hung out, had a big party. Coach Jones was paying for everybody's food, and we sat there, and he went, guys, I got to be honest, I hope we're in the first four. I don't want to be a 16 because if we're in the first four, we're going to be highlighted as a program. They're going to treat us like kings because he'd been up there for VCU. He knew what it was like. He goes, absolutely. That did more for our program, than anything we could have done. We don't want to just be thrown in as a 16 seed against Kansas or Kentucky. But he goes, right. I want to be in the first four. And sure enough, when that happened, everybody was kind of like, a lot of people were disappointed, but he was like, exactly. That's exactly what we want. And sure enough, we won and went on. So, and we got exactly what we needed out of it. So I thought about that later on. He was exactly right. Exactly.
And not only that, Rick, it's a standalone game.
It's
right. Not a clumped in game like today, as much as for some ridiculous reason, I'm going to be in a meeting that we probably next year should move to the week before in case our teams are in it.
Exactly.
That will be brought up today, by the way, by yours truly. I would hate that our president and our athletic director would have to be in a wonderfully important board meeting that probably could have been last week so that we could go and celebrate. If Joy Taylor's shot goes in, we might have to be somewhere in Portland today instead of being here. But I digress. But Mike Jones understood it. But he understood, Rick, that that branding that we got on that Thursday night, on Tuesday night, it was no one else playing. No one else playing. Whereas today, as great as it is, you'll be one of 16 guys games today or whatever it'll end up being. And if it's on a Friday, you'll be one of 32 games because the girls are also playing on Friday. So it was great for us. And then we had a chance to play Villanova just like we did in 2009. We get the #1 overall seed. That happens to bludgeon everyone all the way.
Yay!
So guess what, though, Rick? I'm going to tell you this. As a former old player, all I ever wanted was to play the best players, a best team. I just wanted to know, how do we rate? How do we stack up? You know what I mean? And to be able to play Villanova that year, that beat everyone. And then in 2009, when we got in and played Carolina in Greensboro, they were the #1 overall seed and they bludgeoned everyone. So you feel like, let's just see where we are, how this thing rates. And trust me, players love to play great players, great teams, and great environments is what we all grow up watching. And so players are no different. And shout out to Miami of Ohio. Let's see how far they can take it.
And we did cover the spread that night, by the way. So I'm taking pride in that anyway.
There you go. Well,
Villanova.
But that Villanova team, Rick, I think I recall 5 or 6 pros. A good portion of the New York Knicks was on the floor that night. The current New York Knicks were on the floor that night when you think about Brunson and Mikal Bridges. I think Josh Hart may have either been on that team or the one before. And then you had DiVincenzo. I think the team was legit. It was a team was legit playing in Pennsylvania, by the way. In Pennsylvania. Yeah. Like they need another favor. But again, sign me up for it every year. If I got to go play Houston this year, we would have taken it. So there is nothing that matches the NCAA tournament for sheer underdog mentality and just they can't screw this one up, Rick. So you can take solace this week. Now, other than if you wanted to be nitpicky on it, some of the scheduling compared to what Sunday's games were to do people a favor, like Arkansas playing on Sunday, I think it was Sunday in the championship game, and having to turn around and play Thursday, but it probably could have played Friday. Could have done some of that. I think Houston's a 2 seed and Florida's the 1 seed in the South. I believe it's the South or the East, whichever it is. But the regional final is in Houston. So you could have, and Houston could end up playing Florida in Houston as a 2 versus a 1. Why couldn't you have moved Houston to the 2 in any other region? And I know what they'll say. They'll say that they really stack it 1 through 68. And so they do the 1, 2, 3, 4, and then snake it back 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
Yes.
So that however it works, and they say this is just what it is. So if you're dealing with equity around seeding, you have to say, what would you rather have, seeding or home court? I personally would rather it stay as neutral as possible. But why am I saying that? Philadelphia is going to host a region final. Sometime DC, I think, is going to host a region final. Greensboro's hosted them before, and Carolina teams have been in it all the way around. You know what you do? If you're good enough, you'll win it all, Rick. I mean, if you're good enough, you beat them all.
That's right.
That's it. If you're good enough, you beat them all. If you're whining about that, say, well, listen, there's a lot of other teams on the sideline that would take it. So if you're going to whine about it, this probably isn't the dance for you. So
100%. I mean, I knew the uphill battle. You know how I knew Radford was in trouble? You know how I knew when we got there the previous day, we'd met with the CBS folks, with Reggie Miller and Kevin Harlan. And then, I'd requested Coach Wright. He was great. Jay Wright.
Fantastic guy on the outside. I'm glad to hear you say that. I'm glad to hear you say that.
Great, dude. He talked to me for like 40 minutes before he even started the interview. We just sat there talking about Ray.
Oh, gosh. Good.
But I knew we were in trouble because when we sat down, he knew every one of our starting 5. Like, this is Radford. Wow. He knew how many minutes Carleek Jones played. He knew the guys coming off the bench in the rotation. And I walked out of there. Everybody was like, how'd it go? And I was like, a lot of trouble.
Wow.
What do you mean? He knows everything about us. Jay Wright has broken down our team in like the span of, a few days, and he knows everything. And I was like, wow, it was pretty impressive. It was pretty impressive. But he respected Radford that much.
Hearing you say that, I was going to say, so hearing you say that, you interview these head coaches all the time in our league. Pretty much for every game, you get a chance to talk to the head coaches. So it sounds like to me, the head coach knowing that specific level of it sounded like it's different than you might get from others. Maybe an assistant coach who has the scout would know it to that depth. maybe that's what you're saying. The fact that the head coach not just knew it, but he was spewing that with no notes.
No notes.
I guess that's why they won it, Rick. I guess that's
why they won the title.
Yeah, they won 2 in 3 years, and so took one.
That's why he's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, and he got out. And by the way, he got out of this thing. He's like, you know what? Yeah, I've run my race.
And he left TV. He's now trying to help Villanova.
Yep.
He said, I want to be with my wife. Yeah, he's doing it. I hope he gets back into TV. I thought he was really good. He was good in TV. Well, just like in everything he does it with class. I mean, his shirt costs more than most people's suits. He's a sharp guy. He's a George Clooney knockoff on a lot of levels. But the guy he helped continue to establish that brand. I think he used to coach at HOF'er, if I'm not mistaken. I think he was at HOF'er. Right. Yep.
And of course, Raleigh Massimino, we all remember the 85. Talk about, wonders in this tournament as we go tournament this morning. I remember the Villanova team that beat Georgetown in 85 because I was a senior here in 85. And that team, I'm not talking about 11 seeds or 10 seeds or whatever it was.
Yeah.
The difference that people didn't realize was Villanova played in the Big East.
That's exactly right.
People saw it as David and Goliath. No, it's not David and Goliath. They're like, man, we play these guys all the time. They get a couple wins, but we ain't scared of them. We're from Philadelphia too. We got Northeast guys. Listen, they looking for a fight. They're not afraid. So shout out Villanova and Jay Wright. That was pretty impressive. But that was our moment, Rick, and we got to do everything we can to get back there, and that's the goal. And I know in today's climate, certain things mean certain things, but the money gets you to the place. But at some point, still got to make shots, still got to defend, still got to do stuff. And I understand it gives you all these advantages and strength and size and all those things. I recognize that. But again, you asked SMU last night, how did that work for them compared to Miami? And they would tell you the money made no difference.
It didn't matter. Didn't matter.
But you got to be, and Rick, as a quick take on this, if you're not going to be able to have the resources, and most people don't, you got to be special in a certain kind of way. You've got to be unique in either how you play and your style and the kind of kids you want to take to a unique organization. If you're not going to have a resource, I thought Darius used to do a great job here. Darius did. I just was so impressed with the amount of talent that he got, Rick. When you think about, where we were relative to the high points of the world and some of the places, Asheville's got nice facilities and that kind of thing. Carolina's got a couple of financial advantages that Virginia doesn't have relative to being able to help support the student athletes. But Darius Nichols got players in here you were right there last year when we played High Point in the semifinal, and it was just a possession game late in that game, and High Point was sweating. They went on to win it. But I'm telling you right now, don't think for a second that it can't be done. It just takes a special guy and team to be able to get some of those in there. So we'll look forward to seeing how it all plays out.
Yeah. One more point I remember in '85 after the title, Ed Pinckney, their star forward, said it was just another night in the Big East, guys. We didn't think about that. Thought right. He just said just another night. I think they had 3 of the Final Four that year.
3 of the Final Four. St. John's with Chris Mullin, Walter Berry. They were also in it that year. And so, you think about they didn't care. And then a couple of years later, you had Seton Hall with P.J. Carlissimo in '89, and Ramil Robinson hits 2 free throws.
That's right.
Or Seton Hall wins it. And then in '87, Indiana beats Syracuse on the Keith Smart shot. So Syracuse was in it in '87. So
Big East was so good.
Oh man, have you seen the 30? Did you see the 30 for 30 on that?
I have not. I need to.
So here's what I would tell. When you do, and you make it must watch, I just want to text me and just tell me that you did.
I will.
It's going to move you like nothing else, and it's kind of crazy when you think about that group of coaches that they had then: Boeheim, Massimino, Carnesecca, Carlissimo, Dave Gavitt in the league. I mean, Patino. It was. Some Patino. I mean, you think about it. Yeah, it's kind of insane. Yeah, it was a lot of fun, and I think sports kind of, we get nostalgic on the good old days, but I think our point of reference is we get the good old days and we get today, and when we compare it. My brother, is my brother, is the greatest sports fan in the world. We talk every week. He's 3 years older than me. He's why I love this stuff. I used to have no choice to watch even him. And he is my sports idol, and he said every time he comes on, he'll text me. He said, "Man, this freaking Big East 30 for 30 is fabulous. He said, it is so good because it takes you back. It reminds you of the Bill Winningtons and that kind of thing. So, so those were the good old days. So for those of y'all looking for football this morning, sorry, we got over on this NCAA thing, and I'm here for it all today.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yes,
well,
sir.
Yeah, John Thompson. Absolutely, John Thompson. You talk about another great interview, by the way. John Thompson. Jeez Louise. Anyway.
Oh, Rick, I'll tell you one thing. I'm gonna pause you here. You're not gonna just throw that up. And we're not.
I got to interview him twice.
But listen, I'm still blown away that you got the picture with Reggie Jackson. And I'm sitting here and you talking about, but anyway, John Thompson. Twice, Rick? Really?
Twice. And then one of the games, he wandered in. Where were we? I don't remember where we were. He came in and we were sitting there and we had one seat and he comes up and we're getting ready to do the game. And he goes, Hey, you mind if I sit here? I said, of course not, coach. So the whole game, we're in commercial, and I'm sitting there with the headset off talking to John Thompson about basketball. He's telling me why it was just, I can't remember where we were. He just wandered in. In.
I was going to say, what was the circumstance that you guys met? I'm trying to figure it out. Did y'all play them? Is that what it was? We used to
play Georgetown. I don't think it was when his son was coaching because he was too involved. Like he used to talk about, he was just telling me how nervous he got watching his son's teams. Said he got more nervous watching those teams than when he was coaching. So this was a different game, and I can't remember where it was. I'll tell you where it was. It was when we played American. It was random.
Okay.
We played American right there in downtown D.C. You know exactly where it is. And we had a home and home with them. And then here comes John Thompson. They were
– He just strolls in. And he just takes a seat beside you. That is
he sat right there on press row. Of course you can, Coach. That was great.
Yeah, I can imagine. What are you going to tell him? No? I mean, he'll pick you up. He'll pick you up. Get this guy out of here with that heavy voice and that booming presence, man. What a difference he made in kids' lives and in that program. And they have not 100%. Been able to replicate that. You think about Ewing, and then Mourning, and then Mutombo, Othello Harrington, Allen Iverson, Reggie Williams, Wingate. The whole brand, the Prop 48 when he stood, he took his team off the floor. I mean, the thing, the big towel and, him going up against all those coaches that were just coming at him. It was must-watch TV. And of course, during that time, basketball was played a lot more in a phone booth. So the physicality of the game was more present than it is now. And for some of the folks, Rick, that are skeptics around today's game, they will say to you that the space now in the game, and I don't disagree with it. And I was telling a buddy of mine sitting at courtside watching some of the Radford games, and we were watching just as an observer, former player, Sam, who played college ball too. And I said, man, it is harder now in some ways to play than before, but harder in a different way. It's harder more aerobically now than it was in our day, which was more anaerobic, which is more like the pushing, shoving we used to have. Now there's this freedom of movement, but it's wider. It's all this room to cover now. We've got, the 3-point line to cover, whereas before we would say, well, let him take the shot. So a guy like me that played a lot of 3, 4, and 5, more 4 and 5 than 3, my spot was paint to paint mostly. My cover was always paint to paint, so I would go there. Very little on the perimeter to deal with. Well, today's game, you're covering every square inch of the floor now on the half court side, which is wider than it ever has been, and 30-second clocks now, which we didn't have. So we would typically go down one end, fight, go on the other end, fight. Now I'm not acting like there wasn't players on the perimeter or fast breaks, which we had, but if you're up 5 with 3 minutes to go in the game, you keep the ball a minute if you were fortunate enough to run your weave and that kind of thing. Now, shots got to go up in 30 seconds. You're on the other end and you're covering the whole thing. So I don't know which is better. I personally like space better than the clog. But back then, Rick, it was a lot more of a fight. And I think that's where you got a lot more of the collisions and not very artistic. Now, maybe it's gone too far now. I think somewhere in the middle is a good blend. I'm not sure where that is. I think now, though, the more things you can do at 6'8" that you never were asked to do 30 years ago, the better you are as a team because it creates mismatches and opens up the floor. So
100%. 100%. Hey, real quick before we talk a little NFL, who you got in your Final Four? Who you got?
Yeah.
And everybody's asking me, are you in our bracket? There it is. He's in a bracket. There you go.
I'm in. D.A. Schmitty. With a name like David Smith. Schmitty. And so my roommate, Eric Key, he made my name German. He calls me Schmidt. So I am D.A. Schmitty. D.A. Schmitty 1, I think it is. And I'm in there. And so my Final Four, I got St. John's coming out of that East over Duke. I'm assuming Duke's not going to be healthy. That's the weird one to me. I just don't know. And even if they're healthy, will they be legit? I just don't know. So I took St. John's. Again, I'm on the Big East. I am playing it forward, right? I've been talking about it. I got them in Florida coming out, and I got Arizona and Iowa State. I got Iowa State coming out of the Midwest, not Michigan. So I got Iowa State coming out of there. And then I've got St. John's knocking off Florida, playing Arizona, who I've got beating Iowa State in the Final Four, and I got Arizona winning the whole thing. So
good Final Four.
We will see how it goes. And I am a lifelong Carolina fan. Grew up rooting for them, even though I grew up 50 miles from UVA. Went to Rapp University. Love Tech to death. I love Tech more than I love UVA. I've never been a big UVA fan, even though my godson won a national championship with them. I understand and respect them a lot. Totally get it. They've had a great year. I got VCU knocking off Carolina today, and I don't even know who I am.
Me too.
Saying that. But my daughters are VCU grads, and I am just here to tell you, being in Richmond, I didn't recognize this. VCU has been in the championship game of the A-10 10 of the last 13 years, Rick, and they have never lost a semifinal game. In other words, if they get to the semifinal of the A-10, they freaking win it. I mean, and they just do it, and that's with 5 coaches.
Yeah.
I think that's Shaka, that's Will Wade, that's Mike Rhodes, that's
it's a program,
and that's Ryan Odom, and that's now Martelli. And so for those who want to take a look at what drives this thing, they have the model, and their players universally are the same kind of guy. There's some bad, tough boys that play hard. They're single focused on their basketball. They have incredible resources, always have relative to their league. And every time a coach comes in there, it's a plug and play situation.
They win. I know.
They win. They win all the time. They do it all the time. So we'll see how that bad boy goes. So it should be a lot of fun.
Well, I intentionally didn't text you when the Broncos and your Dolphins, my Broncos and your Dolphins pulled the trade, Jalen Waddle. At first, I didn't like the compensation. Then I started to look at it and go, well, let's talk about this for a second. So a 4th-round pick was included, but a 4th-round pick went back to Denver, so that's a wash. Throw that out.
That's right.
You gave up a 1st-round pick, but we're picking 30. So is that really a 1st-round pick? And then you give up a 3rd. Okay. So basically you gave up what is arguably a 1st-round pick and a 3rd for a guy that you feel like is going to fit in to Sean Payton's offense and help out a young quarterback.
Yep.
I've cooled on this deal a lot. I was very mad at first, and now I look at it and I go, okay. They had no interest in A.J. Brown. Nobody wants A.J. Brown.
There's something with that. Yeah.
He's a deterrent to the league, and the Eagles are stuck with him. And the Broncos said we were never in any conversations with A.J. Brown. It was about Jalen Waddle. They almost traded for him last year at the deadline. So what do you think as a Dolphin? You guys are doing everything everything right. Just get them out of there. Let's start with the coach, and let's get picks, and let's just rebuild this thing.
So for you, I see it as a win because I think when you start to talk about – first of all, let's go back to A.J. Brown. If Sean Payton doesn't want A.J. Brown, then that tells you all you need to know, because Sean Payton is one of about 3 or 4 guys that I think A.J. Brown could go to and sit in the corner and behave. I think Andy Reid could handle A.J. Brown. I think Vrabel could handle A.J. Brown. And I think Sean Payton could handle A.J. Brown. I think those 3 come to mind as the type of coach that could, like a Parcells would be. But I even think about Parcells, even when Parcells had T.O., and he still ran off the rails. So some of these guys, the juice isn't worth the squeeze, apparently. And it appears as though that right now the Eagles are going to have to figure out where he will land. Now, as far as you guys go, Rick, it's a fantastic move. I thought it's what you needed. You talked to me last year about needing somebody that could take the top off the defense,
right?
That could be a threat down the field, and so on and so forth. And you had gotten nervous. We hadn't made a pick for anybody. Did anybody let Denver know the free agency started? I'm thinking to myself, Hello.
Oh, is that now?
Did you set the clock ahead? Set the clock back? Daylight saving? So on and on we go. So good for Denver, though, that they were able, in my opinion, I think it's a good move. And you think about Rick, the pick. Yeah, when you talk about the 30th pick, you know, you really, a late first and early second is kind of the same thing. It's kind of the same thing. As for Miami, you know, when we let Bradley Chubb go, right, and we started to make the other moves, you know what we're doing. Tua's gone. We got the dead cap money I saw that we're paying is the most absurd thing. But guess what? Strip it down to the studs, all the way down. We'll have Malik Washington, formerly of UVA, as a receiver. We'll slog through this season. We've got Malik Willis on a pretty friendly deal because you can't have too much of a deal because now you're paying both quarterbacks, probably combined more than Mahomes makes, that kind of deal. So guess what? We had to make a move, Rick, here. If you can't kind of go halfway on this thing, you can't. And let's just see what happens. And so for me, I'm fine with it. It's going to stink having to watch my boys just kind of mire in the mud, but that's what it is. We've been miring in the mud anyway, trying to win. You might as well mire in the mud and not try to win, you know? So, but I like the coach. We probably needed to do this instead of putting these Band-Aids on it. But that doesn't mean that the team won't go out and try hard. They'll just be devoid of elite talent. And so for Miami, it's just the beginning of what it is. And Malik Willis, he's got to be assured with his contract that no matter what happens this year, as long as he doesn't get killed, that you're going to be here for the long haul. And let's go ahead and get used to each other. And then in year 2, we can start using these picks. I think we got 11, in the draft or something to that nature, which is a beautiful thing. Let's just kind of build this thing. And then next year, maybe some free agents will want to come once they see us kind of maybe upticking. So for us, my early prediction, Miami 5-12. That's what I'm going to say. I think we'll be 5-12 this year, Rick, if we're fortunate. And one of those will probably be a New England win because we seem to always get.
That's right. You beat them at least one time.
Weirdly enough, and usually Miami. So there you go.
Well, the first thing they need to do is petition NFL for next year to go back to the old uniforms. That's what they need. That'd be the first win. Let's look like the Dolphins again.
Well, I'll tell you what, you and I, our 30-minute segment needs to be longer. I know you could say that for all your guests, but we've got uniform conversation we need to have complete with video of the old Dolphins uniforms that I used to draw as a kid with that logo on the side of the old fish with the dolphin with the helmet on.
So good. So good.
Those old uniforms are good. And for those of you that don't know, you've got to YouTube anything in the 70s, and you'll see the greatest. The Falcons need the red helmets. They need those.
Correct.
I'm a fan of those, a huge fan of those. And shout out to the Raiders and Steelers for not ever playing this stupid game. Stay traditional. It's not broken.
We got the best uniform argument in the league. We're not going to do anything. Just shut up about uniforms. Leave us alone, right?
Well, maybe they'll all do what the Chargers did, Rick. The Chargers would wear those powder blues every so often, so much that they resonated with people when they wore them. And guess what they ended up making them?
Right.
Their main uniforms. And so if we can, maybe we'll start that here on BDST. Hey, we're going to start every show rallying for that to happen. So let me make mention of one thing too, Rick, before we go. You guys do a wonderful job on this program of talking about Timesland coaches. You know, you talk about Coach Hicks and what he's meant to you and whatever. I had the luxury of working at Northside in basketball for a number of years, and Billy Pope, the men's basketball coach, after 40 years, he retired this week. And I was working with the ladies. Let me tell you, 680 wins. I think he's in the top 8 all time. You got 3 state championships. And I know Billy pretty well because I was working with the ladies. And I'm just going to tell you, as great a coach as he was, he's the greatest man. He was a teacher to my daughters, at least one of them, I'm pretty sure. And they both adore him. I had a chance to meet with him. My wife did some classes with him, some workout classes with him when we were back in Roanoke. And he's as great an individual, a loss for us, like when Rick Cormany retired at Radford. These guys that are 30, 40-year icons in the area that are now moving on to the second phase of their life. We want to shout out Billy Pope at Northside, 3 state championships, and he deserves his flowers. Go rest up, coach, and watch from the sidelines. So there's my Timesland tip for the day. There we go.
Future show, you have you and Coach Pope on at the same time. That'd be great.
Well, also, let me tell you what else, too. We got a bunch of coaches we need to get on here. Mike Jones needs to get on here.
I know. Yeah, I know. I'm going to reach out to Coach here. Yeah.
Coach Steve Robinson, Coach Davis, Ron Bradley. I'm here for it all. Maybe we do a coach's corner, man, every so often.
No,
maybe that's it. Yeah, let's just get them in here and chop it up with these guys, man. People that are great in people's lives. Even my high school coach. I'd love to be able to have you meet my high school coach, Coach Will. I talk to him pretty regularly. So there you go.
I'd love it. I'd love it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
Yeah, that'd be great. Well, man, thanks for jumping on. I know you're busy today.
No,
so
always ready for you.
Appreciate you jumping on.
Man, you guys are the best. I hate when this ends, man. I don't want to do anything else but this. And we got some more stuff to deal with here. We got this draft coming up, man. We're gonna see what teams are gonna do what. So maybe we get back to our regular scheduled program. Maybe we'll drop a podcast.
Yeah, absolutely.
Real quick between now and the draft.
We will.
See if we can squeeze one in, pop an hour on, let the folks listen to it. You got it, brother.
Well, mention my name today to all the important people like yourself, will you? Tell them Rick.
Your name is going to be mentioned. Listen, I am. First of all, coffee needs to be a sponsor of this program. I need to find a coffee sponsor because it yokes me up a little bit too much. But I'm here for it. Oh, they're going to hear your name, and I'm going to mention to them that we talked today. And I'm assuming that the board meeting will be the second Thursday next year. If I can
You're going to get a change. I love it.
In between the Big South Conference. Listen, if I can pull anything in between the Big South Conference and the NCAA tournament so that we can all go enjoy our ladies and men going to the tournament.
That's a great point. It's a great point. Yeah. I love it. You'll get that done.
All
right, my friend. Great to see you, brother. Take care, man.
Boy.
And we'll see how this weekend goes. First weekend, get down to the Sweet 16. Let's see what happens.
There you go. I'm gonna be listening, man. We'll listen for Andy's coming up next, right? AB coming up.
AB's coming up next. We'll talk some Tech spring football.
Dwight Vick too.
Dwight had called me last night. His truck's got issues, so he has to be at the dealership at 8 this morning. So unfortunately, Dwight won't be on. But I'm going to go through my bracket, which I think is going to change now. And so. Yeah, I'm going to have to adjust some things.
All right, well, we'll keep the first one so you can realize if it didn't work out, what you shouldn't have done.
Yeah, correct.
There you go. Correct. Have a great rest of your show, man.
All right, man. You too, man. All right. Try to have fun today. All right. Be good.
All right, man. Yes, sir.
There you go. The great David Smith, the Hall of Famer. How good is that? Yeah, that's the best. That's as good as it gets. We love David. Yeah, you don't ever want to get off with him. Like, you want to just stay on with him the whole time. That would be great to have him and Coach Pope on at the same time. Andy Bitter next. That'd be great. 40 years, man. All the folks you influence. That's why they keep doing it. They're not doing it for pay. I'll tell you that. But you heard how much it really influenced David's daughters. And so that's great. That's what it's all about, man. That's what it's all about. Jump in our bracket. Big Dog Sports Talk, DAWG. Stacy Compton on tomorrow. We're presented each and every day by Pulaski County Sports Entertainment, and Stacy's going to come on and talk about the IHRA Mike Burnip tomorrow as well. So you don't want to miss that tomorrow with Stacy. Getting things ready for the first weekend of racing, which is this weekend, by the way. It's Andy Bitter joining us from Tech Sideline. Good morning, AB. How are you?
I'm pretty good. How are you doing?
Doing all right, man. People excited. It's our start of first spring football under James Franklin, huh? Stoked time.
Yeah, we actually have a fully open practice today.
That's cool, though. Did you expect that? Did you expect to be able to get in there like that?
Probably not for the entire thing. I will say, they're doing it's their second practice, so they won't be even. They'll still be in sort of like pajamas at this point. It's not like they're full pads or anything. So
True.
If they're gonna do it, this is the time to do it. But it'll be interesting just to kind of see how James Franklin operates and. I think by the end of it, it'll be like, yeah, that was a football practice. That's kind of how it goes on football practices. But, it'll be interesting to get in there and see it.
And I always think about you because you said that a few years ago. You know what? It's football practice. We get all excited, but basically it's just football practice and not necessarily hard football practice right now anyway. So that's right. That's right.
Well, I think you'll still be able to tell a lot just by seeing the interaction between the players and the coaches.
Yes.
I just kind of want to see Franklin in motion because he's a very intentional person when he's off the field. Everything is regimented and on time, and he's constantly moving. And I have to imagine that's exactly what he's like at a football practice too.
Yeah, I think and this whole staff coming together, right, to see how it all looks with new guys working together like that for the most part. Some of them, obviously, he'd worked with before. But that's so important. There's little things like that in the spring, right, that every program right now is trying to get organized a little bit better, right, heading into the summer. So,
And, it's critical the first spring because it's sort of, is the foundation that you set for this whole thing. So, you set a tone for how the first spring practice goes and how it's going to go into the summer and then to the fall with preseason camp.
Brandon says open practice means Andy's going to have like 10 articles. Can't wait to read the content. Yeah, you will. You'll be able to go through those things and spread them out, which is kind of nice. So what are you looking forward to other than, watching Coach Franklin? Or have you looked at some of the position battles? I want to see, Grunkmeyer, the guy they paid for to be the guy. Can he take over the full leadership of this team? Things like that. I hope we can kind of get some insight into that. What about you?
Quarterback's definitely top of my list. Just to see how he operates. Listen, we're not going to get in there. They're not going to be under like full blitz packages or anything today. So beware anybody that comes out of it. He's like, Grunkmeyer looks great. It's like, well, of course he looks great. He's throwing on air against nobody coming at him. So, I think it'll be important not to draw too many conclusions. But again, it's just sort of the vibe. What is it like out there? How are these guys interacting? What is the process of practice that they put them through? There's slightly different things that coaches will do that vary up at practice. I'm just curious what personal touches Franklin puts on a practice like this.
They've got some injuries at running back. I'm going to be cautious with Hawkins a little while, and one kid's going to miss. I mean, so you might not get a true test of that, but you will get a chance to see some of that depth potentially, right?
Yeah, Messiah Mickens is also out. Marcellus Hawkins sounds like he'll be out most of spring. And I think, they have 5 running backs after that, and 2 of them are walk-ons. So, when James Franklin says, hey, I want to do a real spring game, I think that's where the concern comes in. It's like, well, you're already down to 5 running backs at the start of spring. So what's it going to be by the end of spring when guys get nicked up a little bit or turn an ankle? Will you be able to split the 2 full teams like that? And, a spring game is kind of more of a passing event anyway. I don't feel like they want to go out there and be like, we're going to run it 50 times and
right.
get our running backs all dinged up at this game. So it's more of an air it out type of affair anyway, but you do have to have some running backs on the field. So, keeping those guys healthy will be a big deal this spring.
And I'm curious about the offensive line. I know that sounds like an obvious thing, but does he have 5 guys, right, that he can count on to start the season? And can he get everybody healthy? It seems like the O-line's always banged up everywhere across the country.
Yeah, Logan Howland already is missing the spring, and he's somebody who you thought could step in and maybe start at left tackle in this whole thing. So, determining a 5 is important. Determining a 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. The second team, I think that's been such a downfall about this program in recent years is they haven't had any other options on the offensive line. So if the first team is not performing and the first team is injured, they didn't really have anybody to step in. Like, somebody will step in, but he's not ready for that moment. And I think that was pretty obvious last year. They had no depth. They were just barely getting by the skin of their teeth with what they had on the offensive line. And, what's the result? The quarterback is running for his life behind center. Not a great year for Kyron Drones, but who would have a great year when you have 0 time to throw on every single play? So I think that's important, finding a way to protect your quarterback this year, because if Grunkmeyer is the guy, and I believe he will be, he ain't Kyron Drones when it comes to mobility behind center. He's not a guy that you're going to want to have running around trying to make plays with his legs.
Wayne, a different Wayne, not the usual Wayne, asked, hey, Andy, how do you feel about the receivers? I keep getting mixed reviews on the wide receiver depth. What do you think?
I mean, I like Aiden Green at the top. I've thought he's been a pretty good player all these years. They just haven't had somebody to be able to get him the ball with any sort of regularity. So really interested to see what he can do. I mean, he's a senior already. It's kind of shocking.
Yeah,
he's already
true.
A senior.
Yeah.
I think they had a really good pickup in Keyshawn Brown coming from Duke, and the stats that he put up. Beyond those 2, I think there's a lot of question marks. I mean, Marlon Jackson is hurt. He's out this spring. His arm was in a sling when we went there for the weight room day that we saw stuff. So that's a guy they won't have this spring. And beyond that, it's a lot of guys that have had injury history throughout their time here. Takai Heath, decent season last year, kind of banged up as well, has played in the slot. Two big ones to watch, I think, are Brody Adams and Chance Wiggins. And neither of them played last year, and they're pretty highly touted guys. They just have not been able to get on the field with any sort of regularity through their career. So you're talking about possibly 4, 5, 6, the guys in your receiver rotation that you have major question marks about how they can perform and get on the field. I think that's a big question mark. So I like the very top with Green and Brown. I think you get to question marks very quickly in that group. That doesn't mean they're not talented, because those guys are like 4-star recruits when they came in here, but they do have to be on the field to be able to see what they can do.
And the potential for the tight end position seems pretty strong, right? It's not established yet, but the potential for it, the depth there seems pretty good too.
Well, they added some guys for the first time. They haven't had added tight ends in a while. So they added some guys there, some interesting guys. We'll see. They didn't quite reach their potential at Penn State, or had not tapped into their potential. And I know Reynolds was a really highly ranked guy coming out of high school, but he was also a different position. I think he was a quarterback in high school, so that takes some time to adjust. But it feels like that's going to be a position that has some options this year. So curious to see how they deploy that, because historically Penn State has used tight ends very well. Much more in the passing game than Virginia Tech has.
Yeah.
I would imagine you take their entire offense and their head coach and their offensive coordinator for that place, you're probably going to have the same kind of offensive look.
Brandon asking Chad, Andy, based on expectations alone, what position group do you expect to be the most improved on the roster? Good question.
Most improved. I mean, it's tough for me to say here today.
True. You haven't seen it yet. Yeah.
Once we get out there and see it and see how they operate, I think I'll have a better understanding of that. I think trying to think about it. I think overall, I think quarterback is an interesting one with some of the pieces that they added there. And not only guys that they added through the transfer portal, but guys that they're getting back, like JoJo Krim, who's out this spring, but he tore his ACL last year around this time. But he was the guy who I thought could contribute last year. So you get him back, you add Jaquez White, you have some other pieces that are coming in at cornerback. I felt like they were very light at cornerback last year, and injuries didn't help with Krim going out, Caleb Brown going out early in the season. I think maybe there's a few more bodies, a few more options at those spots this season. But again, I'm going to have to go out there and see it before I believe it.
Yeah, right, exactly. And that whole side of the ball intrigues me, with Brent Pryde coming back, settling back into that old role, to see how it feels like that transition is going to go fairly seamlessly, right? But we'll have to wait and see how all that comes together too. That interests me a lot about what it's going to look like on that side. So
yeah.
Linebackers, you're being asked about. What do you think about there? What do you think about the linebackers?
That's another one that I don't really know. They added some transfers. The returning guys are fine. Caleb Spencer, I think, played a lot better than people thought he would last year, moving to the inside like that. Give him a full year on the inside, see what he can do. Young guys that they're playing very well, that are stepping up and a big role in the future here. But I don't know that there's just like defined positions that they have there. That's always sort of my concern with the linebacker. They seem to rotate those guys around so much that you just kind of never know who's going to be in the game or who you're going to rely on. It used to be such a thing where, when Bud was here, it was like, all right, you got Jack Tyler as your Mike, and then who Tremaine Edmonds is going to come in as your backer, and it's like those are the guys who played every snap, and it has not felt that way the last couple of years. And maybe that's a function of talent. If you have a Tremaine Edmonds, you're not taking him off the field. Don't get me wrong. Even I could coach Tremaine Edmonds on the field and get a pretty good result. That guy was such a beast on the field. But I think that's something they're going to have to sort out. And, who's playing at what position. It'll be interesting to see, what the alignment is. Are they going to go back to that star linebacker that Pry had before? Are they going to be more nickel-based? It's tough to tell. They haven't really clued us in on anything with the scheme. And I think we'll get a decent sense out there when we see it at practice. But again, who knows what they'll show us today versus what will show us in the future when we get like 5 periods at the beginning of practice.
Prometheus asked, does Andy expect Wiggins and Adams to have an impact this year? And/or, I guess.
I think they have to. I think it's a bad sign if they don't. Because like I said, you're talking about receivers 3 and 4, possibly higher than that if they're pretty good.
Yeah.
These are guys they recruited to play big roles. And beyond them, there's a lot of inexperience. I mean, they're inexperienced because they haven't been on the field a lot, but the guys behind them are younger and inexperienced. So 5, 6, 4, 3, 4, wherever they are in the rotation, you need those guys to produce at receiver. Otherwise, you're going to be pretty light there. You're going to be putting too much of a burden on your top guys to carry the weight of the entire receiving core. And we've seen how that's worked at Virginia Tech in years in the past, not so distant past here, where they just didn't have a ton of depth. And it doesn't work great. Those guys get worn down by the end of the year. You need some other players to come in and take some of the toll there.
Well, and at the end of the day, develop all these things you mentioned, and it is important. But man, try to stay away from major injuries. Hey, can you remember covering a camp where there wasn't some kind of significant injury or 3 that carried through to the start of August practice? It always seems to happen.
Yeah, I mean that's always the fear.
Yeah.
And for you as a head coach, you try to do partial really hard work and then not push them too hard to get injured. I remember when I was at Wisconsin, there was a spring game. It was after I was at Wisconsin. I was watching it and Lee Evans, their star receiver, got hurt at the last snap of the spring game. And tore his ACL and was out for the year. And it's this is why, as much as they want to say, hey, we're gonna do as close to a game as possible in the spring game, that I think when push comes to shove, I'd rather see just a light scrimmage on that day than really push it and run the risk of anybody getting hurt, because it's waste the entire season. Now it wastes money, right? Yeah. If you're invested with these guys for a season and they aren't able to play, you're not getting a return on that investment if they have to sit out. So again, we'll see. I mean, it's really big talk at the beginning of spring to say, hey, we're going to do a real game. It's going to make, fans are going to love it. You get to the end of spring and you go, we have no linebackers. So
right. What times they get underway today for you?
Early. It's 8:40, something like that.
Oh, wow. Well, you get a good start to the day. Get in and watch those first round games coming up at 12 and so forth.
Absolutely.
Many people are asking, they've been asking, what is Andy's thoughts about Tech deciding not to play in the NIT? Got a lot of negative feedback from Tech fans. Man, oh man, I didn't know the NIT was so important.
Yeah, I'm with them. I think it's lame. Season wasn't over yet. I don't understand why they're putting this. It sounds like it was player driven, the decision not to do it. I don't understand why this is a decision being put to the players. This is a program thing.
Yeah.
And I know people will be like, oh, it's just the NIT. Nobody cares about the NIT. It's possibly, but some people care about this. Some people care about watching their team continue to play as long as they can. And if you're opting out of these events, and first of all, who does Virginia Tech think it is opting out of the NIT? This is so beneath them or something like this. It's the NIT in most years for Virginia Tech basketball is a pretty good result. It's the most likely result. They're not the team that they wake up and their birthright is make the NCAA. But, I think a lot of people look at it and go, if I'm investing my time and my money throughout the season, I'm not saying they're big donors or something like that, but it costs money to go to games. It costs time to carve out that time in your schedule and pay attention to a team all season. You get to the end of the year, and this team shows that they don't care about continuing to play as much as you care about continuing to watch them to play. Then what are you in it for? And I wonder if there's going to be trickle-down effects from that. It's I can't be invested if this team is not going to care about continuing to play. So I think they fumbled this whole thing. For a team that made a mess of the end of game situations all year, I guess it's not surprising that they do the same with the season. But as an administration, I mean, I'd be looking at rev share agreements and making sure I get the language in there. Hey, you play the entire season. You play the postseason. If we're invited, we go to this thing, or else you don't get paid on this situation. And I think it's lame. And the people say, "Oh, they were injured, they were beat up, people pro careers." Like, you think that would have been, if they would have snuck into the NCAA tournament, that injuries would have prevented them from participating in that event?
That's a good point.
Like, no, they chose not to play in this because they viewed it as a lesser tournament, and it is. But if we're going to treat Notre Dame with scorn after they choose not to play in the Pop-Tarts Bowl, then do the same with basketball when it's not the playoff at the end of the season. So I just don't like it. I think it's a bad message to send. And, some people will say, "Oh, it's just the NIT. Oh my gosh, what are you making a big deal about this for?" It's like, I think it's a slippery slope on what you choose to play in and asking your fans to be invested in a program.
No, that's a great point. And, Chris was on with us Monday, and he said that he'd heard that some scholarship they were going to endow a scholarship, and they said, "No, we're not going to do that now." They've angered those people that much. So it's little things like that, right, that kind of build up. You're right. It's the impression.
You have to tell fans that you care about continuing to play. And I think this tells them that they don't, and that that's not one of their number one priorities. And if you break that, connection between the fans and the players, it's going to affect things, because fans are contributing to the payroll.
That's right.
Of this team now. It's not just like, they're out there for scholarship and just running around, just doing it for the love of the game and this whole thing. Like, there is a money component involved now, and you're asking more of your fans to contribute and fund this whole thing. Can the NIT be different and have more of a incentive for players to play in it? Yes, I think they can. And I think you look at that, there's a tournament in Vegas right now where they have like a 500,000 NIL pool or something like that at the end. Like, perhaps that's what it has to be, is that there's some sort of money component at the end, or perhaps they need to rewrite these revenue sharing agreements so that people play through the whole season. But this seems problematic to me, and I don't understand why a school like Virginia Tech, of all places, would turn down an opportunity to play in the postseason.
Yeah, no, I think, and most people agree with you. I mean, there's been a lot of negative vitriol, man. It's been directed directly at Mike Young, but like you said, this necessarily wasn't his decision. But then again, that's troubling as well, right? If it wasn't, or maybe he didn't want it to be. I don't know.
Yeah, I think as a coach, there's only so much control what you have over the players, but. I thought the comments. Did you see the comments Malcolm Delaney made on Twitter?
No.
Where he said, his senior year they missed the tournament, and there was a sentiment on the team that they didn't want to play. And Seth Greenberg kind of gathered them together, and it's like, you contributed too much of this program over the years to make that how you go out. Like, you sort of, I don't know if it was like you owe it to the university to play in this, but you sort of owe it to yourselves to finish the season strong and finish your career strong. And of course, it's Twitter, so you get shouted down by idiots out there. They're like, "You don't know what you're talking about." Like, I think Malcolm Delaney has pretty good perspective.
Yeah, he's got pretty good
guys. Yeah. But I thought that was an interesting perspective. Perhaps you owe it to yourselves to finish out a season like this, and not end it like you did with the. I mean, they lost a bunch of games at the end of the year that they probably shouldn't have, and disappointing result in the ACC tournament. Maybe you could turn around and some of the most special seasons in Virginia Tech history have come from making NIT runs.
Right.
Winning the NIT.
There's a lot of history there. Right.
That's not an accomplishment to just shove to the side. And then, that kind of feels like what they're doing here, not even giving them a chance for that.
Who's in your Final Four bracket, by the way? Who you got?
I filled it out real quick. I do not put a lot of thought into this. Just
I understand.
When I do put a lot of thought into it, it doesn't get any better. And it makes me more angry. So now if it doesn't happen, I'm like, well, I didn't put a lot of thought into it. So I think I have Duke, Arizona, Houston, and Virginia in my Final Four.
Oh, okay.
So I got 2 1s, a 2, and a 3, which, hey, I'd like to be less chalky than that, but at least it's not 4 1s.
Yeah, we don't want that again after last year. That was boring. That was boring stuff.
Well, I probably just turned myself off to your fan base here by saying that. UVA. I like the way they play. I think they got some shooters. I think they defend the rim very well. And I had to pick some non-chalk, so I picked them as my sort of upset to get.
No, there. I like it. And Ryan Odom's a hell of a coach. So yeah, I like it. Well, Well, man, have fun today. I'm excited for you guys. I'm so glad that you have that access today. It's going to be great to see your reaction after what you see throughout the day today. That'll be cool. That'll be really cool.
It'll be fun.
All right. Well, man, have a great day and enjoy the games today. Today's one of the great days for sports fans, this Thursday. It always is.
Yeah, hopefully some buzzer beaters. There haven't been. It feels like it's been a little bit tame the last couple of years. So maybe it's like El Nino. You have some really bad years and some really good ones. This will crank it up a little bit.
Maybe so. I hope you're right. Let's bring El Nino back. That's right. All right, brother. Have a great day, man.
All right.
Take care. All right, Eddie Bitter. Good stuff. Yeah, lots of articles from AB coming up. He gets to watch practice, and it'll be fun today. I think he's definitely one of the guys you want to make sure you follow. He and Chris, they do the best job of anybody, right? But Damien is really good. Mike Burnup will be on tomorrow, so we'll get a – Mike had to push his appearance to Friday because of travel. Dwight's got issues with his vehicle. So we're going to go over my bracket, which I'm going to change. I'm going to tell you right now. It's like the injuries to Duke didn't register until you guys started reminding me in chat. Yep. You did. Thanks to Family Fencing, sponsor of our studios, Jason Green. The weather's getting warm. The grass is green, so you want to get your privacy, whatever it might be. Your fencing in order. FamilyFencingNRV.com. Free quotes, 540-200-8294. And the way they put the fence into the ground. I was talking to Jason last week. I mean, it's going to last forever. I mean, you pay for whatever with Family Fencing. McClellan Chiropractic, Mark Hundley, right off of Walters Drive, 155 Walters Drive. At the end of this month, I'm going over there and going through the film. We're going to film the session of me just going through the stuff, man. And when you see it, you're going to be excited. It's great. Mark's unbelievable. Pulaski County Sports and Entertainment. Speaking of unbelievable, the title sponsor of this program, Stacy Compton, on tomorrow to talk about the IHRA and Pulaski County Sports and Entertainment. We're looking forward to that. Racing starts this weekend. So good to say that again. Pulaski County, it's going to be packed, I have a feeling. Stacy has been working his tail off. He's supposed to be on 2 other times, but he got busy, and he's going to be on tomorrow morning. Little River Heating and Air, Charles Lee, speaking of the best, 540-553-2971. Give them a call today. Don't hesitate. Ryan Pry, the attorney. Here we go. The BDST fan question of the week, 701 West Main Street. Trust and estate planning. And the answer from you for the Ryan Pry question of the week in the matchup that you thought was going to be the biggest upset of this first round. And everybody is looking at Akron, Texas Tech. We had 13 people pick Akron and Texas Tech. We had 7 people. I was a little surprised. The VCU North Carolina game came in second with 7. Then I had about 3 6s. People liked High Point. Somebody, let's see. Yeah, the HOF'er, Alabama, because of injuries. And people like Miami, Ohio. To the credit to the 4 people who picked Miami, Ohio to beat Tennessee, they were confident they were going to beat SMU, and you got your pick was right. So, yeah, good stuff. We have a very intelligent audience here. Thanks to Lawson's Mobile Home Supply, 540-381-8011. They've been around since 1997. The NRV Super Bowl's been around for this entire, century, since 2000. 382-5525 over in Christiansburg. You can enjoy the NCAA tournament and bowl. How cool is that? National Bank member FDIC, the exclusive banking partner of yours truly in this program. Travis Williams, professional door incorporated residential commercial garage doors, family owned and operated, 38 years in business. Travis is, that place is unbelievable. Great dude, man. Great dude. Ready, Set Fund. Speaking of great people, Bob Chris, BOBCRST11@gmail.com. Just email Bob. Ask him more about the Ready Set Fund and what they can offer. It's a series of text messages to help your group, organization, sports team raise money. Floyd County Girls just broke a record, $4,300 in 5 days using the Ready Set Fund. It works. And Sundown Electric, our newest sponsor, thanks so much to Jeff Smith and his brother. And this is an amazing company as well. One of the best reputations of any business around. They're down in Elliston. They serve the entire region. The craftsmanship, the communication, the attention to detail, unmatched. If you have any issues at all, reach out to Sundown Electric. Let them tell you about what they provide. And we thank them so much for helping out this program. It's good stuff. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Good stuff. Good stuff. El Nino. I like that. Oh, I got to send Alex an invite. I haven't done that yet. Hang on. Get caught up in everything. Today's show seems like it's really just flying by. Things are just flying by. We will not have Dwight, and then we'll get into my bracket, which I'm going to go ahead and talk about my bracket with the changes I'm going to make, to be fair. Anthony says most of the country has picked South Florida. I did see the most fashionable pick is VCU beating North Carolina. Ryan says, I didn't answer my own question this week. I will take my alma mater pen. Go Quakers to beat Illinois. I didn't know you were a Penn guy. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Didn't know that. Yeah, VSAR is going to have to carry Carolina. Agreed. Miami, Ohio is upset to watch for. Yeah, the way they played last night, I may have to look at that one too, the matchup with Tennessee. Can it carry them through another round? Don't know. And I agree with Tebow and Andy. I think UVA is going to be a hard out. I do. And you're all right. It shows another lack of leadership over there. You're right. You're right. No leadership at all, just to allow that to happen. And that really doesn't surprise me. Talking about, Tech not playing in the NIT. Not surprised. Not surprised. But we'll get into the bracket. Thanks to David Smith. Thanks to Andy Bitter. And now we're going to switch gears and talk some Diamond. It doesn't feel like it this week. My Lord, the weather. Alex Guerra, the head baseball coach at Radford. Well, hey, man, it's mid-March. You're supposed to bring warm weather. What's going on?
It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. I have nothing to do with this. I was in the waiting room at a very, interesting moment. All I heard was lack of leadership. I said, woof. I mean, it's –
oh, my goodness. It is
7 o'clock, and we're going in.
It's on, baby. It's on.
All right.
Yeah, we're talking about that institution across town. That's what we're talking about right now.
I hear you.
Well, again, we had 2 games just completely colded out and rained out. I mean, you're supposed to go to A&T, supposed to host Queens, and boy, oh boy, I mean, it was so nasty on Tuesday and Wednesday. I know that had to be disappointing. Yeah.
Yeah, it was disappointing because I really wanted us to get back on the field and play after this past weekend. We spoke about it. Obviously, myself, the coach at A&T, coach at Queens. In fairness, they had been playing in 90-degree weather down in South Florida. They were going to come up here, potentially play in whatever it was yesterday, 45, 46. But when we made the decision, it was much colder.
Yeah.
I respect the fact that, God forbid he wouldn't want one of his better players to get hurt in that type of temperature change. We're talking about a 45-degree temperature change. Hopefully we can get that one rescheduled. And the A&T one, there was just no shot. I mean, they hadn't tarked their field. And it was brutal, absolutely brutal. So, I mean, yeah, so, it's unfortunate, but, it was an opportunity for some of our guys that are a little bit banged up to be able to get back and rest up a little bit and get a couple extra days of rehab and prehab and get off their feet and get specific and working on a couple things with some certain guys, especially offensively. So we're ready to rock and roll.
And the series open up conference play. I mean, if you're a baseball fan and you're watching those games, every game was down to the wire. I mean, 2 extra inning games and then the game on Sunday. Your thoughts on your team coming out of that? I mean, you had so many chances to win that series, to be honest with you. I mean, you were right there in all 3 games.
I'm extremely encouraged, and I think extremely frustrated and disappointed at the same time. I think everybody echoes that same feeling. Going into the weekend, we knew that they were going to be a challenge. Obviously, they're very well coached. They are extremely relentless offensively. I mean, they don't give away an at-bat. They don't give away a pitch. They battle with 2 strikes. Rick, at the end of the day, you look at it, and in each game, there's a lot of things that go into winning and losing, right? But when you break it down, on Friday night, the 4 runs that they scored in extra innings and in the 9th to tie it up, they all came from walks, or free bases. Saturday we have an opportunity there to, we had a couple of base running issues where I feel like we've got the lead in the back part of the game. And then if we execute situationally on Sunday, we win.
Yeah.
So we're not talking about
mechanical
things. We're not talking about these extended or extensive issues with your team. We're talking about things that we work on, we talk about, we preach. Protecting the ball, attacking the strike zone, being relentless offensively. Those are the 3 kind of pillars of how we want to play. We talk about it every single day. We remind them about that in every huddle before the game. Just a quick summarization of what we want to be in each facet of the game. And at times they were awesome. I mean, the 9th inning, we're down 4 after the Gilly kid for them, who pitched phenomenally, was about to throw a complete game. We got him out of there. I mean, the at-bats that we had in that 9th inning to get back into it was the epitome of what this team's all about. The toughness, the culture. It was right there. 3 straight 2-strike hits, just battling, competing, clutch. Sully coming off the bench, tying the game up. T-Spar taking the lead with it to RBI single. And, then we're an out away in the 9th. We take the lead again in the 12th. We're an out away in the bottom half.
Right.
We had an opportunity. We had the leadoff guy on in the 11th and the 14th. We popped up a bunt. We got back picked on a fake bunt, on a failed bunt attempt. So I think yes, we're close. Like, we're right there. Like,
I know.
We're right here from sweeping. But it's those little small details that got us swept. And that's how fragile winning a championship is. Like, it's a play here, a play there. It's a pitch here, it's a pitch there. There's some things from a coaching standpoint that I got to do a better job of, 100%. But we're all in this thing together. We had an opportunity, I think. I was really marinating on it for a good 36 hours after Sunday. Like, I was just having a hard time really pushing past it. And after practice on Tuesday, we had a team meeting and we had a really good film session. Wasn't to get mad at anybody. This was just an opportunity for all of us to let's watch film.
Yeah.
Let's watch the good. Let's watch the bad. Let's digest it. Let's have good baseball talk. And we watched the 9th inning, the top half, the bottom half. We watched the 14th inning. We watched the 12th, where and you can just feel the sickness.
Yeah.
That I think I was feeling. I think you started the aura of the room kind of felt that. And I thought it was a good flushing of the system to be able to watch it. And for these guys to also understand, like, you guys are a really good baseball team. You guys are an awesome group. You're tough. You're competitive. It showed up there. It's got to show up in critical moments. And at the same time, you got to give Winthrop credit, man. Like, they made more plays when they needed to. They executed more pitches when they needed to. They were better out of the bullpen in critical situations. And they were better in clutch moments than us. And sometimes, like, that's just baseball.
It is.
It's unfortunate. It sucks, but it's just, this is a weird game, man.
It is.
It's a weird game. Like, yeah, and it's tough because sometimes people look at it like, oh man, you got swept. It's like, this isn't football where like you're gonna go out there and just get, and you're just gonna out athlete the play or outman the play. Like, there's so many different factors that go into the baseball game. And look at High Point.
Yeah.
I mean, High Point almost swept Florida, the University of Florida. mean, it's if you're a fan in Florida, you know, the message boards, like you're probably all over their staff, their players, etc. But High Point's really good. High Point's a really good team, and if they go out there and they execute and they get some flow and get some rhythm, like anything can happen.
Anything can happen. That's right. That's right.
But yeah, I'm encouraged and I'm excited, and I still love our team. All of our goals are in front of us, and we're going to be resilient. We're going to stay together. I know that. So,
absolutely, absolutely. Well, and this weekend's your non-conference weekend. So, but this is cool, and you know, I've been talking about this a lot with people. I love the way you have this set up. And this is the way it should be, I think, with all of our sports teams in VMI, right? This is a team that, by the way, it's a program that's gotten better. They're having a terrific year. But way you've got this scheduled, a home game, you're going to go up there and then bring it back. Talk about how you and VMI folks got together. I think this is great. This is the type of series that I think, you know, if you have a non-conference series, that's fun. That's cool. That's cool.
Well, Sammy Roberts and I we're very close. We played against each other when we were here. He played at VMI. Heck of a player, two-way guy. We've just known each other really well over the years of coaching, and we were going to do our normal, you know, home and home midweek, and he was having a tough time finding teams for their bye during this time. And this was our bye as well, and when our schedules came out, and then, you know, he kind of proposed the idea, like, well, what if we just do this? This way we can, you don't have to worry about hotels, and it'll be a cool deal. Like, I said, yeah. I think he gave us we agreed on us having the 2 home games. I think just because he was saying I'd make some more changes to the schedule, which was fine. I mean, I like playing VMI. It's an in-state opponent.
Yeah.
You know, 2 programs that have a lot of respect for each other. 2 coaching staffs have a lot of respect for each other. There's a lot of familiarity with the players on both sides, guys that have played with each other, you know, in travel ball and in high school. And
that's true. Yeah.
Former teammates. So there's a lot of cool personal stuff as well amongst both programs, and they're going to make us better. And hopefully we make them better, going to conference play. It actually sets up perfectly, totally unintentional. But, you know, VMI's, the way they run the bases and the way they do things is very similar to Longwood, who we played in the following week.
Right.
So this is going to be a really good test for us as far as how we're going to be able to defend it. I mean, they're going to get their stolen bases. They're going to run. There's no question about it. They're leading the country in stolen bases right now. They have 109.
It's crazy.
Which is really ludicrous, but you know, they're 17-2 or 3 up to this point.
Yeah.
You know, they've got some veteran hitters back. You know, at VMI, Sammy does a really good job, and their staff of recruiting, you know, high school kids that they feel like can get on the field really early and develop, and they can kind of, I don't know, necessarily take their lumps with them because they're talented kids, but you look at some of these guys that they've had in the past and when they've been freshmen and sophomores, and you look up when they're juniors and seniors, and, you know, they're totally different players. So I think you're going to see some of that between Owen Prince, local kid from Roanoke, Grayson Fitzwater, who's from Norfolk, a bunch of kids from Richmond, the Garner kid, and some guys on the mound. So, like, they got some veteran hitters that can play. And they're going to be challenged. So always good to play those guys for sure.
Yeah. And like you said, too, a productive week off from conference, like a productive series that's going to help you and help them, which is really had to be the key consideration in all this. You don't want to play games for the sake of playing games. These are going to be games that are going to be vital, you know, to that next series. I love that too.
Yeah, so, absolutely.
That's cool. So 6 o'clock to Friday night at our place.
Yep.
It's gonna be warm, 60. So hey, you'll be fine. Everybody will be fine. Come back. And then what time's the weekend games for everybody? If they want to go to maybe up in Lexington and be listening, you might want to pop into the stadium. So
be 2 o'clock up in Lexington, and then 1 o'clock on Sunday back here at our place.
Okay. All right. Well, that'll be cool. And we're looking forward to that. And thanks as always. By the way, everybody always wants to ask, whatever you're on, how's everybody doing? The progress after everything else. The guys, I only get a minuscule amount of time with certain guys when I see them. But how's everybody seem to be progressing forward now with everything?
Day by day.
Yeah.
The guys are doing great. I will say, and I don't want to make light of it, or brush it off, but the guys are in really good spirits.
Yeah,
I would say.
They seem to be.
They're in good spirits. I think privately, like if I talk to a couple of them, I've tried to be able to check in with our guys, as much as I possibly can, or ask some of our older guys about our team. I mean, I think they're hanging in there. I think that everybody's got their moments, but I would say day by day, every day is going to be potentially different emotions that are going to come at you, right? But they're resilient, man. Like they're resilient. They're a tough group. I think when they're here at the field is the best time for them because they're not, they may not be sitting there thinking about, thinking about all the tough moments we had gone through the last couple of weeks.
Right. No question.
We had a really cool moment actually on Friday that I didn't even really realize it until after the fact. So when they brought in their kid from out of the bullpen, Harrison Wilson, I was watching film that night and I heard Simple Man by Leonard Skinner. And I'm watching it and I'm like, there's no way. Like, there's absolutely no way that this happened. And he was the guy that we scored the 6 runs off of. And that was a song that, that Joe had talked about and played that reminded him of Joey.
Oh, wow.
And it was a song that was played at one of the songs I played at the memorial service. And so which pisses me off even more that we lost.
Right. Yeah, I get it. Sure.
And I'm sure it pisses Joey off too. He's probably like, dude, like I came down there.
Yeah, come on, man.
And you guys blew it. Like I could see him like smirking with his like why are we walking?
I played the song for you. Come on, guys.
He was there. And then when you look at the inning, it's like, man, there was definitely, I don't know, maybe there was some divine intervention, but I thought it was really weird that that song was played and then we scored 6 runs.
Yeah, it is weird.
I think we'll have more of those moments throughout the season.
I do too. I think it's going to happen like at a home game. We're going to go, wow, now wait a minute. Yeah, exactly.
But all in all, the guys are doing well. They're hanging strong. They're, like I said, they're resilient. They're tough, and they'll lean on each other and get through this. We all will together.
They will. And you're doing a hell of a job, brother, getting them through it. I know that.
Thanks, buddy. So I appreciate it.
Well, man, good luck this weekend against the Cadets. Looking forward to catching some Baltimore night at Williams Field and then in Lexington and back at home on Sunday. So weather will cooperate. I've already checked out the forecast. That's good news. So y'all be safe on Saturday. All right, we'll see you tomorrow, man.
Appreciate you, brother. See you.
Take care, man. There you go. That's Alex Square, head baseball coach at Radford University. Doing a great job with those guys. Good stuff. And thanks, everybody. By the way, thanks, everybody who asked. That's cool. I get random texts throughout the day. How's your baseball team doing? How's Alex doing? That means a lot. These are people that aren't associated with Radford. That's cool. So I wanted to pass that along to him. And I appreciate that. It means a lot. It does. You haven't forgotten. It's cool. But that is cool. Yeah, people here on the text line. That's cool. They're playing VMI like that. Altering game. Yeah, that's just smart. Makes sense. And they're having a good year. And I haven't really looked at the competition they're playing, but it doesn't matter. You're playing baseball and you're like 17-3. It's baseball. If you won 17-20, you're good. 109 stolen bases? Jeez Louise. I mean, good Lord, really have Vince Coleman, Ricky Henderson as I know Ricky's not with us any longer, but geez. That's a lot. All right. We're going to go over the bracket. No Dwight today. Dwight was upset. He contacted me last night, said, man, having truck issues. They want to see me first thing, 8 o'clock Thursday. I don't feel like I should get out of that. I said, no. If you tell a car place that you can't be there, then who knows when you'll get back on the schedule. And then he goes, well, let me see what we can do. Maybe we can do something Friday. So he looked at Friday. Then we decided on a time Friday. He goes, well, I don't want to just be on for 10 minutes. He said, I can't just talk to you for 10 minutes. I said, yeah, you're right. What about Monday? Let me look at Monday. And then I think he's got a therapy session. He goes, I tell you what, let's just do it next Thursday, and I'll apologize to everybody 100 times. I said, you don't have to apologize. We get it. Now, we're going to miss you, DV. No question. But we'll talk to you next week. By the way, his son, Isaiah, has officially gone in the transfer portal. I'm not asking any questions, but that's not surprising. He's going to have quite a bit of suitors. I saw a list of like 20 schools after the year he put forth at Division II Wingate. That was cool. So what we're going to do now, we're going to get into my bracket. Now, I'm going to just be completely transparent here if I can find a pen. Yeah, here we go. Now, the red pen and brackets don't usually go hand in hand. But I'm doing this now as you're my witness. Here's my bracket. You see this right here? By the way, jump in the BDST Tournament Challenge. You still have time. Let's see where we are now. And I want everybody to jump in. You still have until noon today to get your bracket. We're up to 76. Wow, that's so cool. 76 people. I am changing my national champion. I'm going to go with Arizona. I have to print this out again today. But so you're my witness. There you go. See there? I have marked it out, and I will change it. It's because you're both, everybody in chat, you convinced me with the injuries to Duke. And I might have to go back and look at the St. John's game too. Do I pick Miami, Ohio to beat Tennessee? They looked really good last night. That was fun last night. But we'll go through it if you're ready. And here we are. We'll start with the East. Now, obviously, I had Duke winning the whole thing, so everybody knows I have Duke winning. In terms of upsets, and I want to hear from you in chat and on the text line, how did you look at this bracket? There's not a lot here other, at least going into the tournament, than the 6-11 game. Louisville, South Florida. And as Anthony said, the Louisville fan, a lot of people are picking South Florida. The fact that you've lost your guard, to me, changes everything about Louisville. I did pick South Florida. At first, I did not have UCLA picked, but I think they're going to be healthy. So I think they'll win over UCF in a tight one, and then UConn will eliminate them. I didn't have a lot of surprises into my regional final. I had Duke playing St. John's, Michigan State playing UConn. And then I have Duke and Michigan State, and then I had Duke advancing. I might have to look at this whole thing, and if I do change it, we'll talk about it tomorrow. There you go. That's right. That's right, Wayne. Every pick has its thorn, just like every day has its dawn. And, you know, every cowboy sings his song. Morris says, Rick, as a purveyor of bad bracket picks, trust me, Duke, Florida, Gonzaga, and Michigan, Final Four. All right, hey. I've only won, in the past, I won one money bracket. This was like early college, and I've only won one other family bracket that really didn't have anything attached to it. I haven't done traditionally very well. So when you read my article tomorrow, if you read my article tomorrow in the Patriot, you're going to see that I picked Duke. It's a complete lie. I'm changing it now. All right, in the South, I have Florida and Iowa. I have Iowa beating Clemson. What's up, Robert? What's going on in Montana? Who you got in the Final Four, Robert? Moore says, I've never won, so trust me. I have Vanderbilt taking on Nebraska. And I have VCU playing Illinois. Fake news. And I have St. Mary's beating A&M, and I have Houston winning. Then I have a rematch between Florida and Vandy. And I have Illinois beating VCU, then Houston. I have Florida playing Houston, and I picked Florida to go to the Final Four. I know. Prometheus is going to yell at me because Vanderbilt beat them very badly in the tournament. I know. I get it. Out west, I have Arizona playing Utah State, Wisconsin and Arkansas. And again, I would really love to pick High Point, being a Big South guy, obviously, but I just don't think they're going to. I agree with Keon. The size of Wisconsin, they shoot it well too, man. They score. I have Texas. I'm sticking with it. Texas beating BYU. And I have Texas playing Gonzaga, and I have Missouri, but I might change that one too. That might be the one that I look at too. Is that going to be Miami? I'll let you know tomorrow. I'll have the update. And whatever I do, you have to be locked in by noon today anyway. You can't change your bracket. I might go Miami, Purdue there. Either event, I don't have them moving forward. I have Arizona, Arkansas, Gonzaga, Purdue. I know. The top 4 seeds. I know. And I have Arizona playing Purdue and Arizona coming out of the West. Wayne had NC State and SMU run. Oh, sorry. Oh, I get you, Robert. No worries. Doesn't follow college basketball much, but I like watching March Madness. I get it. That's the sentiment of a lot of people. No problem. By the way, Robert, if you ever have any suspected Bigfoot episodes out there when you're in the woods on your horse, let me know. You'll know because your horse will start getting upset. That's the way it's always portrayed. If you're out with your loyal steed and all of a sudden he feels a little uneasy, well, you might want to be careful because Bigfoot's coming, going to get you. Bigfoot's coming, so you better watch out. You better lock your doors. You better lock your windows because Bigfoot's coming, going to get you. I can't play that song anymore, but I can, recite it. Maybe that won't get me dinged. Just Grizzlies? Okay, that's fair. Midwest, I have Michigan playing St. Louis. Remember, St. Louis is my lock for Thursday. I'll give you my Friday lock tomorrow. Akron beating Texas Tech. And I almost went Akron Hofstra here. But I did not. I'm going to go Akron, Alabama. And now I got to look at this one too, right? Bring out the stinking red pen. Do I go with Miami the way they looked last night over Tennessee? I will let you know what I ended up doing with both. Interesting. It's both Miamis. I may add both Miamis forward. Anyway, they play Virginia if it's Tennessee or Miami. And I have Virginia playing Iowa State. I do have Santa Clara upsetting Kentucky. Wayne says, just take a blurry picture of a rock. You will get me with Bigfoot. Michigan, Alabama. Virginia, Iowa State. And I really have gone back and forth on Virginia and Iowa State. Ultimately, David Smith has Iowa State going to the Final Four. I have Michigan playing Iowa State, and I have Michigan winning. And look, I know nobody's more disgusted with this than I am, because right now I have all 4 number ones back in the Final Four.
Oh my. Oh, no. Oh, no. That was out of nowhere.
I know. Okay, I get it. I don't like it any more than you do. I don't. But you get caught saying, well, this can't happen. Well, it happened last year pretty easily. And then you look at the matchups, and are you picking games just because you don't want to feel like you're picking chalk, or do you really feel like those are the 4 best teams? Well, pre-Duke injury, they're the best team in the country. Arizona is the 2nd best team in the country. Michigan's been in the top 3 all year, and Florida, although they didn't play like it against Vanderbilt, have been the best team in the SEC. So, Rick Chalk Allen. I know. I'm not happy with it, Wayne. Why don't I play these sound effects more? What's this one? But I'll tell you one thing, Robert, if you're out and you hear this. Better get back to the house, my friend. All this for free. Exactly. Please subscribe, like, and share the channel. But last night, Miami hitting 16 threes.
Oh my. Oh, no. Oh, no. That was out of nowhere.
So there you go. And now I have Arizona winning the national title. I'm changing it. It will reflect Arizona. You'll see me in the bracket later, because at noon you can see everybody's bracket. I think Wayne's got poison written in as his title. I don't know, Wayne, how you got that done, but so you'll have this, but this will be changed, and I'll have to take this with me and maneuver it today. But you still have 4 hours-ish to jump in, fill out your bracket, and jump in our group. It'd be cool to hit 80. Wow, 80? That would be awesome. Right? See where we are now. We're at 76 still. That's pretty good. I'll take that. If it ends up being 76, that's a good haul. But get in there, name your bracket, and we'll have a great time. There'll be some prizes we'll come up with at the end. Wayne's Final Four: Brett, CC, Bobby, Nikki. By the way, I sent Wayne. I don't know how this stuff pops up on my. I'll never understand Instagram. I'm that guy. I don't understand it. Somebody can give me a tutorial. That's why I always chuckle when people go, "Hey, you have TikTok, don't you?" No. What's that? I don't have a team. I wouldn't know how to do that. But on Instagram, for some reason, there was this variety show. there was this variety show. You have your 4570? I know, but it's Bigfoot we're talking about here. He might be supernatural. Just saying. So for some reason, this short video clip, it was a variety show. It had Olivia Newton-John, Tina Turner, Tony Tennille, and then later Peaches from Peaches and Herb. Mike Jones and I called each other Peaches and Herb. Of course, he had to be Herb, and I was Peaches. And then later, Karen Carpenter jumps on. And Olivia just stunningly gorgeous. Olivia Newton-John was just, Wayne, you know this. But then Tony Tennille. I know, people are like, who? Remember the captain in Tennille? Do that to me one more time. Once is never enough. Love will keep us together. And she had that short haircut, little bob haircut for that. Well, in this, she has got very little clothing on. And she's got full blonde hair. And I'm telling you, Tony Tennille, congratulations, Captain. No wonder you just sat there and played the keyboard with the hat on, little sly look on your face. I mean, Tony Tennille. I never, ever saw that coming until yesterday.
Oh my. Oh, no. Oh, no. That was out of nowhere.
But, yeah. Muskrat love, that's right. But she was intentionally being the promiscuous one in that group. And they were singing, and this is the thing that topped it off. They were singing the Eagles' Heartache Tonight. I'm sure there were a lot of drugs that led into the decision to produce that little bit, because we are talking about the late 70s here. It could have been early 80s. I don't remember when. Wasn't Heartache Tonight part of the Long Run album? Anyone? Is that right? But did it really matter what they were singing when you had Olivia and Tony Tennille? No, it didn't really matter at that point. Hey, Wayne, were you aware that Olivia was very attractive? Did you know that? I'm not sure you realized that, Wayne. Anyway, I've gotten off track here. But that's my bracket. And join in. Once you print it, that's what it'll look like. All right. Keep in mind, Duke is no longer my champion. And I may have to look at the Miami-Missouri game. What's the spread on that one, by the way? Because that is a decent. I mean, you see how it's spread out here. When is the Miami game? Is that tomorrow? That's tomorrow. Both Miamis play tomorrow. Ooh, it's the very late game, Friday night. Miami only 1.5 point favorites. That's tough. It was the Long Run album. Wow, pulled that one out. I like Heartache Tonight. It's a good song. And apparently Olivia and Tony Tennille do as well. What do you think, Miami? I got to be honest. I don't know if I only watched Miami play like a little bit twice this year. Missouri's coming out there. I've got to look at those things. But if you have any last second thoughts, if you have some time this morning, you do have time. The bracket does not close until noon. I'm getting a lot of people on our professional text line asking me about that. It is noon. And then they lock up for good. And no, you don't go back and fill out round for round. Somebody else was asking that. In other words, apparently, and I didn't know that either, apparently there's some brackets you can go through in the second round if you've got teams advancing and then change that pick. But no, not here. You're locked in. And that's the way it should be. No multiple brackets, one bracket, and you're in there. Marva tried to get multiple brackets, and she finally did hers, by the way. What did she name hers? What do you think Marva named her bracket? It had to do something with Duke, right? Let's just look through here. Some of the names. Hokey Bob's wife's in there. I'm just a caveman. Chamber Steve. What's up, Chamber Steve? I miss football already. LSU girl. Belichick's blue pill. Goober says NCAA. Gee, I wonder who that is. Prometheus. Just Prometheus. I like it. I like it. There's no Floyd County Moose Knuckles. Rock Dynamite. Marva in Miami. There you go. With a capital N. ZZ Mania. 3-ball t-shirt time. That would have to be Neil, our PA announcer. Highlander Wahoo's picks. Mine is the Wizards of Westwood, by the way. John Wood. UCLA won 10 titles in 12 years. Wisconsin Weasel. It's good stuff. Go Vols Go. The attorney, Ryan Pry. Blue Devilish picks. Those are good. All right. So we have good names. People took the time to pick good names. And we have 76 people. That's great. Thank you. That's awesome. That is awesome. Please subscribe, like, and share our channel too. Or become a premium member. Like the green, see the greens on here with Wayne and Chris and Brian Oliver. I think that's all we have. 3 or 4. I don't know how many we have. To support the channel. That'd be great. Tomorrow, by the way, Burnup's on, Mike's on. Jen is back. Seems like there was something else going on at 7. Oh, yeah, Stacy Compton tomorrow. So we're loaded again tomorrow. Has any team from Montana ever been in? Yeah, Montana. The Grizzlies have been in recently. And I'm pretty sure the Bobcats were in recently. Right, guys? Gals? Everyone? What do we got? Montana State. I don't think it's been that long for Montana, like a year or two. Montana State has been to the tournament 6 times, Robert. 22, 23, and 24. They went 3 straight years. Wow. So the Bobcats have littered it. Montana has been in 13 times. Most recently, last year. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Montana's won 11 Big Sky championships. Is it truly Big Sky country out there, Robert? Big Sky? Hey, Peaches, when do Lad Highlanders play again? The women play tomorrow night, 7 o'clock for the WNIT. We're hosting. I will be at the game. I'm going to go check out baseball. Then I'm going to go over and support Mike McGuire and the ladies tomorrow evening. Happy birthday, Wes. I just saw it's your birthday. West Flint, a viewer and follower of the program. Hope you have a great day. By the way, did you know yesterday was Mike McGuire? He was on the show, and it was Mike McGuire's birthday, and I had no idea. He didn't say. And then I got to work, and everybody sent out, hey, I wished him a happy birthday at work. Most picked on ESPN brackets to win it all, Duke, and then Arizona, and then Michigan, Morris says. Well, there's one guy's changing it to Arizona later. Because I'm going to have full transparency for you, not trying to be sneaky. Remember, here you go. You see the red pin in the middle. I've marked out the Duke logo. It's going to go to Arizona. Just like Prometheus and Chris Lester, all y'all have done changed my mind. Don't know if they can cut down the nets without two starters the whole tournament. They're good enough and deep enough, and they spend enough on their roster to be able to get through a few rounds, but they're not going to be good enough, are they, to beat a team like Arizona? I don't think so. Can they beat St. John's? You know, the thing about St. John's, and this is a sneaky thing. Now, I'm not saying they're going to win, but Northern Iowa, they better watch out. Northern Iowa better watch out. I mean, St. John's better watch out. They're only 9-point favorites in the opening game, and St. John's is a sexy pick to go to the Final Four. You're welcome, Robert. So it is definitely Big Sky. Okay. I can imagine it is. I can imagine it's got to be the best therapy that a human can have, like you, out there on your horse or out there in the woods with that brilliant greenery and then the bright blue sky. I could see that being the case. Absolutely. Nice pants. Where are you, Creed? Balboa, come here, buddy. Everybody wants to see you. Come here, Balboa. He was just here. He's excited because he feels the warm front coming through. Why am I Peaches? Wait, why does everybody need to call me Peaches? Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, I was Peaches. Hi. I'm trying to get Jones on here next week, and we're going to talk about that. Yeah, I got you. Yeah. See, he's the one who started all that. Peaches and Herb right here. Of course, I'm Herb, so that made me Peaches. And I think at some point he was just calling me Peaches. Yeah, I can't keep my Peaches waiting. I got to go do the interview. So we'll see. We'll see if I can get Coach on here next week. Yeah, I'm changing my pick, especially since the ACC is off to a flying start in this tournament. Slice peach or are you the whole peach? Well, Mike, I guess Coach Jones could tell you. We'll ask him that question. But it was weird, wasn't it, Wayne? Wayne, you watched the clip. Why was Peaches there? Oh, here we go. Come here, everybody. There we go. It's been a while. There he is. What do you think? He's surviving. You got something you want to say? Huh? What do you think? No, there it is. You good? You going to hunt later? You good? Are you the man? Dun, 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 dun. Sorry. Sorry. I mean, he is named, by the way, after those two individuals. Thanks, Wayne. See, Balboa, Creed. Balboa, Creed. Now he's looking at me like, what? He is embarrassed. Peaches. Yeah, he's like, what was your nickname again? Have fun, Robert. Thanks for checking in, man. Oh, he's taking his wife out riding? Oh, well, there you go. That's great. That's great. Have fun, man. I am very envious. If you still played softball, having peaches on back of uniform would be classic. It would, wouldn't it? Like George and Coco. Wonder if Marva will name her bracket strawberries. Well, I really wouldn't go around talking about that a whole lot. I don't appreciate that, Morris. That's kind of died down, hasn't it? Am I even still dating her? I have no idea. So Marquise Williams went back to Carolina. He said he was embarrassed that he actually played there. He's like, I will never go back. I had no idea it was that bad. What was he talking about? He went down there to see how it was around the football program. I wonder what that was. Oh, I bet it is, Robert. Oh, wow. Thank you for your service as an Army veteran. It's therapy. I bet it is. Thank you, Robert. That's awesome, man. We have quite a few veterans here in chat, so that's great. No group of people in this world I have more respect for than the men and women who serve. And I'm still that guy, by the way. If I see somebody randomly in uniform and I mean it, I'll say thank you, and I'll reach out to shake their hand, and inevitably they shake your hand. If that's cheesy, so be it. Especially at the airport, if you're flying out and you sit there and you see a lot of soldiers, a lot of people that are traveling. Absolutely. Absolutely. We'll ask Marva that. Should I change the name of my group to just Peaches? Should I go from the Wizards of Westwood to Peaches? But I don't know why she was there. I mean, she had a good voice, but she had Olivia, Tony Tennille, Tina Turner, and Karen Carpenter. Why Peaches from Peaches and Herb? Shouldn't that have been like Linda Ronstadt instead? I'm just thinking about the artist at the time. Right? I don't know. I also wonder if Lawrence Taylor went down and saw the program and said, this is why kids shouldn't do drugs anymore. Well, considering that the greatest defensive player of all time was heavily influenced many of those games while on drugs, I doubt he would have been bothered by it. Two greatest of all times that I have absolutely no doubt about in terms of playing sports. Michael Jordan's the greatest basketball player who ever lived, and Lawrence Taylor is the greatest defensive football player who ever lived. There's no one else. Nobody today. You know how Bill Walsh changed the game forever with his offensive scheme for the 49ers? It was actually, he kind of took it from Sid Gilman back in the day, but that, we can go through an AFL history lesson some point. I have 9 or 10 books on the AFL. I love that era of the whole transition from the AFL being created to, the joint venture with this thing called the NFL that's led us where we are today. But Lawrence Taylor changed defensive football forever. There's no debate on who's the greatest defensive football player in my mind. And if you want to question me, go watch what other coaches of different generations said about him and go watch about 3 or 4 minutes of his highlights. There's never been a bigger disruptor of an offense as Lawrence Taylor. Bill Walsh had a separate folder that had Lawrence Taylor on it. He said it's the only player he's ever done that for. Here's the game plan on the Giants. We're playing the Giants in a pretty big playoff game. Oh, here's your folder about Lawrence Taylor. Everybody on offense learn it. Okay. Here we go. Greatest running back. Here I get questions now. Of my era, Barry Sanders. Of all time, Jim Brown. A lot of other great backs. But you're asking me who I think's the best, Barry Sanders. Oh, the other one, Jerry Rice is the greatest wide receiver that's ever played the game, bar none. What do you think? What do you think? Those are the three things I know. That and Vin Scully is always going to be the greatest baseball announcer in the history of broadcasting. John Madden will be the greatest color analyst to ever get behind the microphone. Those things are truths. Those aren't just opinions. Those are truths. But you do have time to still jump into our bracket, Big Dog Sports Talk, DAWG. Fill out a bracket, have some fun, follow the term. Oh, we just went up one, 77. Let's get to 80. Let's go. LFG, baby, let's go. So tomorrow we'll be wrapping it up. We'll review everything that happened in the first hour tonight. We'll see how the brackets are holding up. Mine last year was shot pretty early. So I go into this like I were buying lottery tickets. Like, oh, boy, it's time to play the lottery. I'm not going to win, but, hey, here's my 5 tickets that I just wasted money on. Tournament challenge, there's no money on it, but you want your bracket to stay alive, right? You want to make good picks. Oh, look at this. I got 7 red marks after day 1. Oh, boy. Yay. So we'll see how it goes. And it's kind of I don't know. Isn't the first game kind of uneventful? Isn't TCU, Ohio State, kind of a Troy, Nebraska. We'll have interest in South Florida, Louisville, and then I'll have a lot of interest in High Point, Wisconsin. I mean, good luck to the Panthers. I mean, bracket be damned. That would be great for the league. Duke fans get to watch them at 250. Come on. 90s Cowboys offensive line, the best of all time. Pretty good. It's pretty good. Pretty good. Absolutely pretty good. So I'll give you that. I'll give you that, Prometheus. They were good. They were good. Kind of hard to argue with that. Been some great ones, but that one was special. That one was special. All right, so I had a couple questions. What are the late games tonight after we get home? Let's say after 7, that session. Well, you get a 6:50 game, and that's the VCU Carolina game. That's on TNT. Then Howard and Michigan. Go, Coach Blakeney. I'll be pulling for you. Go Bison. Texas BYU. That's my bracket buster. I got Texas winning. St. Mary's and Texas A&M should be a good game at least. And then you got the night session. Nothing mind-blowing tonight. Penn and Illinois. Good luck, Ryan Pry, the attorney. St. Louis, Georgia. That's my lock of the day. St. Louis beating Georgia. See how it turns out. Kennesaw State, Gonzaga. And then Idaho, Houston. Houston's 24.5-point favorites. The Vandals, speaking of Big Sky Country, probably not going to go well for them tonight. Ray Guy, yes, undoubtedly the greatest punter ever, yes. 100%. John Madden said not only was he the greatest punter ever, he may have been one of the top 5 greatest football players he's ever coached because he changed the game around so dramatically with how he flipped the field. Not only how strong his leg was in the hang time, but where he was able to just strategically place the ball. He was a weapon, absolutely. Number 8, Ray Guy. Yep. So you can pick out guys. Quarterback's always going to be in the mucky muck because of eras and style of play. But people are asking about my era. So Barry Sanders, I'm not saying there aren't a great. Emmitt Smith was a great back. Eric Dickerson, they're all great backs. I'm just saying if you ask me the one guy, to me, it's Barry Sanders. All right. I'm going down the rabbit hole here. I better go. Everybody take care. Get your brackets in. Big Dog Sports Talk, ESPN Tournament Challenge, DAWG. Let's get to 80. Good luck to everybody. Enjoy the games. Yeah, I understand yours. Now, Vince Lombardi is the greatest football coach of all time. We'll talk more about that. Speaking of changing the game forever. Good luck to everybody in your bracket. I mean that. There's going to be so many of you that have much better brackets than me. And let's have fun. Let's enjoy this treasure today and tomorrow. These next 2 days, it's about all we have left in purity from our childhood. Take care, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow on the Finally Friday edition. Be good. Have a great